delay, it speaks volumes. I think that 12-day break, 11-day break that he had where he kind of got to reset himself, this was a great play by Chadwick Trump. That's the toughest throw in baseball, to try to throw it to home plate when you're not throwing at 100 miles an hour or 100%. But for me, will we see that sinker shot today? It's been an effective pitch for Grant as well. It's all going to be about that slider, but when you mix in that sinker as well as the four-seam fastball, he's shown me a lot over these last couple of appearances, and I think he's going to continue to do great work tonight in Cincinnati. He went on attack mode last time as well, was really filling up the strike zone a ton. When he gets in trouble, it's a lot of those bounce sliders that are non-competitive that get guys back into the count. Then he's got to obviously feed something over the middle of the zone and he gets hurt. But I think the last two starts have been great for him, and he'll continue to do the same thing. Yeah, that was a Chick-fil-A game nugget for Grant Holmes, who, by the way, 41 of his 48 strikeouts on a breaking ball, and you like the slider from Holmes to punch out those hitters. Definitely, and that, again, if he's able to establish strikes with that slider early on in the game, get guys in swing mode, then he's going to get a ton more swing and miss later in the game. Time for Delta Ask the Analyst. That's you, Peter Moylan. What are the challenges of pitching in Great American Ballpark? Well, the minute you walk in there, you just notice how small it is. You look and you know the history of the Great American Ballpark. You know the ball flies there. Even mistakes can go at it sometimes. So you just got to mentally prepare yourself to try to keep the ball down, keep the ball off the barrel. I know that's what you're trying to do every single time out there, but it definitely works in Great American Ballpark. I've seen strangest things happen in that park. I've given up a grand slam myself in there. My numbers weren't great at Great American Ballpark, but I tell you what, these guys are going to get it done here. It's the same for both sides. So keep the ball down, keep the ball off the barrel, score more runs than them, and it's usually a pretty good formula. Yeah, the park opened at 0-3, and by the way, down the lines, 328 to left, 325 to right. We'll keep an eye on those corners. Batting practice going on in Cincinnati. We're getting closer to the start of the game here on Braves on Deck. When we come back, it'll be the keys to the game, Atlanta and Cincinnati tonight.
Picked off. Chavez hits his top of his hat. Now they get Napoli at third base. How about that? It hit the top of the helmet of Chavez and bounced directly at an Angels infielder. A huge out here in the seventh inning.
Oh, they dodged a huge bullet there.
Mariano, Rivera, Cutter, man, what can you say? Because lefties had no chance against him. Randy Johnson. So all you want to do is try to make contact and put the ball in play. Don't get hit in the head and just try to pull it in play. Mr. Great Maddox, another great teammate, great player. Hey, this is a beautiful card right here. This card tells you and lets you know that I got him. When you see that finish high, you know that he's in the books.
What was that ball crushed?
That's a base hit through the right side for Gasper. Coming around third is Sogard. Kag's throw is perfect. Out at home plate. That was a blur from right field. Jack Caglione to Carter Jensen.
The league continues to test Jack Caglione in right field. And if they continue to do that, he might work himself into a gold glove because he has an absolute bazooka for an arm. Do not test Jack Caglione.
Yo, Eugene, what's happening? What's up, bro? What's going on? Man, you know, everybody talking about the Braves. I feel like we need a little bit more flavor out here, man. So what you thinking? Jermaine Dupri block party right here.
Braves on Braves Vision.
Back on Braves on Deck, our final segment leading up to the Braves and the Reds from Great American Ballpark in the city of Cincinnati on the banks of the Ohio River. The Braves have won 15 of 18 series this season. They won 4 of 6 games from Boston. We're on the Battery, getting you ready for the game. We are just moments away, and it is now time for the Ford Key to the Game with Peter Moylan. We are waiting for this one all show, Peter.
I like this one. I came with this one myself.
Yes, this is pretty good.
Send Paddock out to pasture. He's had a tough year so far. There's no need for him to get hot at this point. Actually, last year's games were wild. We had 3 walk-offs and 2 extra inning games versus the Reds. They're really good in close games, so that's one formula. Score a ton of runs and not make it close.
Yeah, the Reds' last series was against the Mets. They won 2 of 3 against the New York Mets. And the Braves looking for win number 39 on the season. Brandon, CJ, and Nick have the call. We thank you for watching Braves on Deck. Enjoy the game.
Jack Ryan.
Marte with a drive. There it goes. Ketel Marte is at it again. He cannot be stopped. There's hot, and then there's hotter, and then there's Ketel Marte. Again, Vitello goes to the lefty against Marte, and again, Ketel takes him out of here. 452 feet, 114 off the bat. It went 452.
Talk to me.
This is called a Crawford dog. Hamburger bun.
Yes.
2 split top Angus beef hot dogs griddled on the skillet, on the plancha.
Amazing.
And then we do a bacon onion jam with Crawford Bach beer.
Pick it up like a burger.
Pick it up like a burger and you just go in, man.
Let's go to town.
Yeah.
Dude. Oh, best hot dog I've ever had. Best hot dog I've ever had. I love this, man.
This is how I grew up eating hot dogs.
We're talking about power. We're talking about bling. This is the stuff that puts people in the seats.
Ruth's adoring fans pitched in to gift a crown fit for the home run king.
How come the fans didn't, put something together for me?
They gave you a nice round of applause.
Good job, Carlos.
That man is 42 years old. I'm only 22. Until that man stay on that mound, nobody gonna take me out of this game.
Okay, let me see what I can do about it. Right now, I feel like I can go over there and go placata right now on the field just because I held this batter, Willie Mays. I'm not giving it back to you. You need
You're not
it
going to get back?
Okay, you can continue talking.
Right, and you're just going to hold on to it?
Yeah.
Hammer and Hank became baseball's all-time home run king.
Hank Aaron flipped the bat, pointed to the outside, and said, "Black it."
Every single Triple Crown winner has been inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame. So it looks pretty good for Miggy. Just saying.
Go to baseballhall.org to plan your visit to the National Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum in Cooperstown, New York, and catch every episode of Hall of Fame Connections on MLB.tv.
With built-in intelligence, your battery saves power and updates are automatic. So even if work interrupts you, your Dell Pro won't.
This is Braves Vision.
Have arrived in Cincinnati for a 3-game series. And Atlanta Braves baseball, as always, is brought to you by our good friends at Truist. Sun is shining 80 degrees today. It is a beaut along the banks of the Ohio River here at the Great American Ballpark. Hello again, Braves country. Alongside C.J. Nikowski, I'm Brandon Gaudin. Great American Ballpark. C.J. joked about it in Boston. Some call it the Great American Small Park because a lot of homers are hit here. The Braves, C.J., hit a lot of homers, and the Reds have a tendency to give a lot of them up.
Almost seems like 2
perfect of a combination for the Braves in this 3-game series against the Cincinnati Reds. As we take a look at what we're talking about, 77 home runs hit by the Braves. That is the second most in baseball. The OPS follows as well. And then you start talking about the Cincinnati Reds and the issues that they have had on the pitching side and keeping the baseball in the ballpark. 1.4 home runs allowed per 9 innings. That is the second highest rate in Major League Baseball. So now we go ahead and we take a look at what do these pitchers look like on the mound. We have more good news. Grant Holmes has allowed 2 runs or fewer in 6 of his 10 starts, 3 straight for him. He's been throwing the baseball very well. The swing and miss has gone up for him. Chris Paddock, we saw him earlier with the Miami Marlins. He has really struggled. Look at that ERA, 6.86 for him. That is 5th highest in baseball.
And if you like a good hair matchup, you got it in Paddock and Holmes tonight on a Friday night in Cincinnati. So why do these hitters like to hit here? Well, yeah, a shorter fence, but is there more to it? Nick Green is going to go to the clubhouse and find out why these guys like to swing for the fences here in Cincinnati.
The Arizona Diamondbacks are striking back after a slow start, and it's largely thanks to one of baseball's fastest men.
Corbin's on the run. He's going the distance. He's going for speed.
Corbin Carroll has been playing like an MVP since his debut in 2022, but in his 4th full season, he's taken his game to a whole new level.
This guy's unbelievable. He's unforgettable.
On Sunday, Carroll put together one of the best games of his career, going 4 for 4 with 2 triples and a 9-1 D-backs win. That put Carroll at 8 triples for the season, twice as many as any other player, and 51 for his career.
He's the reason why you come to the ballpark.
Watch him hit and watch him run.
He became the 2nd fastest player of all time to reach 80 homers and 50 triples. Only Hall of Famer Lou Gehrig did it faster. Carroll's on pace to lead the majors in triples for the 3rd straight season, and he's only 1 triple away from tying the Diamondbacks club record of 52.
On the mound for the Marlins, it is Yuri Perez. The 22-year-old won't turn 23 until April 15th, and last season had a 4.25 ERA. Those numbers are very deceiving because he had a really strong finish. Perez has got him 0-2. See ya.
That's the old good morning, good afternoon, and good night, and all on heaters. When you got it going, stay with it.
3-2 right there, called strike 3.
The 4-seamer, which he'll throw probably over 50% of the time.
Nobody on, 2 out. The 2-2 pitch from Perez to Rumfield. Called strike 3. Look at the emotion from Yuri Perez in his season debut. Yuri got him with a fastball. He gets the approval of Sandy Alcantara. 7 innings for Perez.
Yeah, and it's really amazing when you say he's still just 22 years old.
Ride Truist Park and cheer on your red-hot Braves. Find all the details and get your tickets at braves.com/promos.
The Atlanta Braves baseball is brought to you by Toyota. Visit your local Toyota dealers today. By Rooms to Go, get one-stop shopping plus decorating made easy. That's Rooms to Go. And by Georgia Natural Gas. It's that simple.
This is game 1 of 3 against the Cincinnati Reds here at the Great American Ballpark. And if you haven't heard, you probably know this ballpark is a hitter-friendly ballpark. There are a ton of home runs that go out of this park. It actually leads Major League Baseball in home runs this year. You think about small parks in the league. You think about Camden Yards. You think about Wrigley if the wind's blowing out. You think about Yankee Stadium if you're a lefty. Maybe Boston if you're a right-handed hitter. But I don't think any of these compare to the Great American Ballpark. I went inside the clubhouse earlier today to get some thoughts on hitting here.
You know, the ball flies well here. Dimensions are a little smaller than some other places, but, you know, I think it makes the games fun. You know, you never feel like a lead is too safe, and you never feel like you're really out of a game. We played some cool games here against these guys, and, yeah, hopefully we do some damage.
Great park for hitters. You know, you come here, try to not do so much. Just hit it, we'll go.
Right field plays very small here. Left field is somewhat fair, but still a smaller park. You know, the challenge is you never really feel safe. The other side of it, we have some guys that can hit the ball in the seats. You know, we have a good offense. So hoping that this park suits us well for the next 3 days.
Well, we certainly hope so as well. They have plenty of power. The top 6 in the order combined 291 with a slug of 604. You have 27 home runs in the 85 games combined here at the Great American Ballpark. Michael Harris had a big home run yesterday. Ozzie had a home run. Same thing with Ronald Acuna Jr. You can take a look at our Truist leaderboard. These are the numbers individually at the Great American Ballpark. Ronald, obviously, we know his first career home run came here. Michael Harris has 5 homers in 12 games. Matt Olson, 7 and 11. Ozzie Albies, 5 and 16. And Austin Riley, 4 homers in his 12 games here in Cincinnati. Hopefully, it's a good day for the Braves offense. They scored 17 runs combined over the 2 wins in Boston. It's a Friday night showdown presented by Kaiser Permanente. First pitch is coming up next.
Franco is going to get at least a double. There's that tough corner throw coming in. It's way over. I don't know what happened. It might have hit the stands, and the Padres have scored a run on that play.
Watch this. He goes down, picks it up, and he gets a piece of paper between the ball and his fingers.
That's the weirdest play I've seen in forever.
And purchases when you activate.
You're watching the Atlanta Braves on Braves Vision. Tonight on Braves Vision, Mashing Matty-O and Moonshot Money Mike lead Atlanta's surge to the best record in baseball. But electrifying Ellie De La Cruz and Cincinnati are determined to spoil the party. Live at 6:40 Eastern tonight. And we are just 1 minute away from 6:40 Eastern, ready for game 1 of this series here in Cincinnati. The Atlanta Braves coming into town after taking 2 of 3 from the Boston Red Sox. That guy hit a grand slam yesterday to help the Braves win 10-2 in Beantown, and he's back at the top of the order. It's brought to you by our friends at Racetrack. Harrison Albies also hit a homer yesterday in the Braves' convincing victory to get to 38-19. And today they go against Chris Paddock, who they faced in April when he was wearing a Miami jersey. Now he's wearing a Cincinnati jersey, and he makes another start against the Braves.
And still looking for that first win this season. He's got some cool socks on. That's the last nice thing that we'll say about Chris Paddock here tonight. He's got a good fastball. He has just struggled to use it properly. That has been a big part of the issue for Paddock this season.
How about your Ford Keys tonight, CJ?
We need a little bit more feast and a little bit less famine. If you look at the last 5 games for the Braves, 10 runs, 0 runs, 7-1-0, right? We kind of been all over the place. So let's go a little bit more feast than famine. And everyone said it, and I'm going to too. We're going to gasp here tonight at the Great American Small Park. Outside of the teams that are in the National League Central, no team has hit more home runs in this ballpark since 2020 than the Atlanta Braves. So let's do a lot of that.
Ballpark that opened back in 2003, hosted the All-Star Game in 2015. And here on May 29, 2026, it hosts Game 1 between the Braves and the Red Sox. Or Reds. We were at the Red Sox last night. So close.
I said Red Sox today on my radio show when I was supposed to be talking about the White Sox. So you're not the only one.
And Cincinnati had the day off yesterday. So you get a look at home plate umpire Ryan Blakeney, who gets us going. And a little wave and a miss from Acuna, and off we go. So that 6.86 ERA for Paddock, 5th highest among qualifiers in Major League Baseball. Was with the Marlins, as we said, and then the Marlins let him go. They released him May 10th after he was 0-5 with almost an 8 ERA. Reds had a lot of injuries to their starting rotation, so they pick him up and fill him into the rotation.
And clear how he's going to attack Ronald Acuna Jr., right? See those elevated fastballs? He's got really high verts, some of the highest in all of Major League Baseball. Where does that play? It plays best at the top of the zone.
Ronald Acuna Jr. lifts it high and deep to left center. Folks, he's turning things around. And just like that, 1-0. Remember, for Acuna, he hit the first homer of his big league career here in 2018, and now he starts the series with one in 2026.
Curveball at the bottom of the zone after 3 straight fastballs that were elevated, and that did not fool Ronald. 429 feet later, he knew it as soon as he hit it, and he enjoyed every moment of it.
So how about that? The grand slam yesterday, and now Michael Harris. Do we have back-to-back? Or did he just bring it back? Done in right center, Rob Harris. Wow, Blake Dunn timed it perfectly and brought it back.
He certainly did. Thought it was going to get out of here. The ball carries really well. It didn't put it out on its own, but that is a tremendous catch in right field. Ronald didn't even get his helmet off yet.
Some of the folks are still filing into their seats, and we've had a lot of action here through the first now 6 pitches of the ball game. And both Acuna and Harris hit homers yesterday, and Harris almost went back-to-back with him. But instead, it's just 1-0. But you got to be encouraged for the first 2 hitters.
Well, you know, guys love hitting here. Listen to Nick Green kind of talk to some of the guys before the game. You got a guy who is struggling, hasn't won a game, high ERA, throws his fastball on. It's been a problem. It's not a good mix at all for Chris Paddock.
Third start with the Reds since they picked him up. And as we said, second time facing the Braves this year. Faced him April 15th. In Atlanta, gave up a couple of runs and 5 hits. Overall, pitched one of his better games in what has been a tough season for the 30-year-old righty. Another 2-2 from Paddock. And a full count. 3-2 here to Matt Olson. Seventh pitch of the at-bat. And there will be an 8th. Mentioned this Reds team had yesterday off after taking 2 of 3 in New York against the Mets. They're 3 games over 500. They're in that NL Central where every team is over 500, so they're near the bottom of the division. And Olson rips it all the way to the wall and right. He's going to head for second. Tag applied. They got him. Boy, what a first inning for Dunn out in right field. He robs Harris of a homer and throws out Olson at second base, and the Braves are not going to challenge it.
Well, perhaps Matt Olson hit this ball just a little bit too hard, 111 off the bat, but this is a really good defensive play. The throw was right on the money, and a good tag there from De La Cruz. How about the way this has gone? Homer, rob a homer, throw a guy out trying to take an extra base. That's how Chris Paddock has gotten 2 outs so far in the first inning.
Yeah, Paddock very fortunate. Probably owes Dunn a steak dinner at Jack Ruby's here in town when it's all said and done. Now Ozzie Albies. Ozzie out to left center field. Over goes Blade, and he'll make the catch. But the Braves come out swinging, and Acuna crushes it to give the Braves a lead.
Better look out. Starting to get warm outside, and Ronald Acuna Jr. is starting to warm up as well.
Biggest thing we're bringing is a brand new Tony Gwynn drop I did with his estate. So we just signed a deal at therealist.com to actually go through his entire archives, present them, and auction them off. And to announce it, we did this limited edition 1994 The Lost Season card. Because, you know, between August of 93 and May of 95, Tony Gwynn batted .406 in 162 games. So in the back, we have the stats of what could have been.
And now the second walk of the inning. The throw goes through into center field. Oh my, you never see that happen.
Here's the throw by Ibanez. It is way offline. The throw to second goes into center field. The throw to third goes into the Ranger dugout. Is that a home run? It is in some leagues.
Just throwing the bat at it. Look out. My goodness. Grounded back to the mound. Cruz bobbles again. Picks it up and throws it away. Oh, come on. See y'all July 22nd.
Well, the Braves some good swings in the top of the first. Acuna leaves the yard 1-0. Now we go to the bottom of the first. And Blake Dunn, who had the great plays out in right field, will lead things off for manager Terry Francona. The lineup presented by Racetrack. And on the mound is Grant Holmes' 11th start of the season.
Good ERA for him, 3.78 for Grant. Good batting average against as well. The walks have ticked up, as we talked about, but the slider still continues to be his best pitch.
That was fouled off of Dunn in the batter's box there.
He's coming off a really good start, is Grant Holmes, in which he got 18 swings and misses, season high for him, 4th best in his career. So hopefully, like Ronald is warming up, maybe for Grant Holmes, we start to see a little bit more swing and miss.
You look at this offense for Cincinnati. They hit a lot of homers. A lot of that is because of the ballpark they play in. So they're 7th in home runs, but they're 20th in on-base percentage, 26th in batting average. So it's a team that mostly is built by power because of where they play. Line drive, but Ozzie is over to stab the glove at it and bring it in.
You don't see it too often where a pitcher is ducking out of the way and then your second baseman is catching the line drive. It was smoked 100 off the bat here against the 2-seam fastball of Grant Holmes. And a little bit of curvature to that as well, and a nice play by Ozzie.
Well, 5 batters in, and the early memo is look out because these balls are flying. Now here's Ellie De La Cruz. Such a talented player, hard to believe already his 4th year in the bigs at 24 years old, 2-time All-Star. Swinging at the 2-0 slider from Holmes.
So it's aggressive. We know that. Left versus right doesn't matter a lot for him. The split, you'll see the OPS come down a little bit against the righties, but still really good, up over 800 for Ellie De La Cruz. Strikeout rate stays about the same. This guy's got a lot of talent.
And 37 RBI leads the team, tied for the team lead in homers as well. The difference for him this year, talking with their folks and just looking at the numbers, he's playing better defense, which had plagued him in the past.
And sometimes it was the routine plays or trying to do too much. We know he's got a great arm. Instead of throwing the ball 100 miles an hour across the infield and it being wild.
Toward the corner, but that one's going to go foul.
90 still works right at your first baseman. Things like that for Elly De La Cruz over the years.
He does have a tendency to strike out quite a bit. And he's going to step out here. And Holmes gets him. It is the slider. First strikeout of the ball game.
That's the combination, right? Can you find a way to get ahead of Elly De La Cruz and then take advantage of that chase with a really good slider? Again, this is one of the better swing and miss sliders in baseball that you get from Grant Holmes, and he was not even close to that. Give you an idea of how good the slider is.
So 2 down, and now the left fielder J.J. Bleday. First year with the Reds, last 3 seasons with the A's for Bleday.
It's been a good story for the Cincinnati Reds and for J.J. Bleday, and he's kind of in that platoon role where he'll play against the righties, but he's put up some pretty big numbers after being a big-time prospect, but not necessarily meeting those expectations.
Yeah, they brought him in on a 1-year, $1.4 million deal, and indeed it has been a good find for Cincinnati.
If you're a hitter and you need a bounce back, this is the place to come, right? I mean, Cincinnati's, again, great ballpark to play in. It's a division that always seems like you have a chance to win it, right? It's going to be competitive, and they're always looking for help, it seems like, and especially in the outfield.
On a 4-pitch walk. Stewart to the plate as we take a look at the Braves' Car Shield defense tonight. So Yastrzemski, who has hit their starter Paddock very well, is going to get the nod out at left. And another start for Jorge Mateo as the captain of the infield tonight.
I think he's earned it, right? He certainly has played well. He's looked good over at shortstop, swinging the bat well. Good to see Yaz back out there. I know it's tough, that series that we had in Boston with all those left-handed starters.
Soft tapper. Ozzie will charge and take care of business. After 1, the Braves by 1.
They say it's a game of numbers, pero el flow es completamente otra ciencia. Esto es flow mayor.
I don't know how he did it. Warning track. Whoa! He got it! Puts it away. Judge a sliding catch.
Stopped by Peraza in a second. Peraza got there.
Diving stop by Hoskins. To the warning track. He leaps and he made the catch.
J.P. Crawford goes to a dive. He has it in time.
Going back on it, Nimmo at the wall. He leaps up. He's got it. Nimmo in the deep alley.
Waldy all the way to the bullpen wall. Waldschmidt's got it. Wow! What a catch by Waldy.
Oh, diving catch. McKinstry, the Gold Glover.
Falling forward, dives, makes the catch.
Sending Martin back. Trapp near that 379 sign, makes the catch. What a play by Corbin Carroll, the sliding backhander.
Been a catch made by Duran. Wow.
Ruby's got it. He's robbed him again. He made another ridiculous catch.
They did. Set up in the right field seats.
Car Shield defense for the Cincinnati Reds. You already know Blake Dunn is in right. A couple of tremendous plays there in the first. Stewart, De La Cruz, Steer, and Lowe with Stevenson, the veteran catcher, behind the dish. It'll be Dom Smith, Austin Riley, Mike Yastrzemski for Atlanta in the second.
Good defensive team as a group, 10 outs above average. That's good for 6th best in baseball. However, there are no defending those uniforms. Yikes.
Not a fan?
No.
This will drop, and then tripping Blade, but he's able to knock it down and hold Dominic Smith to one base.
Did he knock that down with his bare hand?
I think he did,
wow.
yeah.
I kind of looked down because as soon as I saw him slip, I then took a peek at Dom to see if he was ready to turn on the afterburners. But he didn't get the opportunity. Four-seam fastball, 94, top of the zone. Dom goes up and gets it with that good, nice level swing. Wow.
Saved an extra base.
Sniper.
Maybe two. It's now first pitch strikes to all 6 hitters for Chris Paddock. So filling up the zone here early. You mentioned the defense. They do lose a little bit with Ke'Bryan Hayes, the normal third baseman, being on the injured list with a chronic back issue. So they've been playing Stewart, the guy there tonight, and Eugenio Suarez, kind of flipping those guys.
Great point, because that is an elite defender that you get in Hayes. And part of the reason that they brought him over here. Now, the offense hadn't followed the way that they had hoped, but he saves a lot of runs over there. And a rough go of it for them with the IL.
Especially in the pitching category.
Hunter Green, that's a huge loss for them. Emilio Pagan, who they brought back to finish out games, even though we got off to a little bit of a slow start. This is not a team that really can afford to have major injuries. They have a few.
And especially, Pagan, obviously the closer. They lost one of their great relievers today in Graham Ashcraft, a former starter. He went on the 60-day IL. And then the injuries to the rotation opened the door for this guy, Chris Paddock, to be brought in under Terry Francona's watch. Terry Francona's second year with the Reds, 25th year overall as a big league skipper.
He's one of the good ones, highly respected around baseball. Had him as a bench coach early in his career back in 1996, and actually got to, I guess, play against him in the minor leagues when I first broke in. I'm sure everybody remembers he was managing the Birmingham Barons of the Southern League. And his most famous player was Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan. His most famous player was a basketball player, moonlighting as a baseball player.
But he gets it. He understands where the game is. You can see where he is among active managers. Not even close as far as the total wins. Better than 2,000 of them. But he still has that little bit of old school, just enough, I think, the way Walt does as well, that today's player appreciates.
7th pitch of the at-bat is upstairs, and it's a walk, and the Braves have 2 on with nobody out. So Mike Yastrzemski, we mentioned it, but against Chris Paddock, look at the numbers, just a lot of success.
So I asked him about it today. I said, are you aware of how good you've been against Chris Paddock? Yeah, of course. Said absolutely. What he talked about really was the amount of times that you see a guy and understanding his entire repertoire. And that was the big one for him, right? You see guys enough times, you track, you have an idea, there's no secrets, and especially if it's something that kind of plays in your favor. But those 3 home runs that he has against Paddock, tied for the second most against any pitcher in the game. But he knows them all. We had that conversation. He started listing the guys off. See, I think I got 5 against. I didn't say I think. I got 5 against Merrill Kelly. And as we're going down the list, I said the thing that jumped out to me was what you did to T.J. McFarland. Should have been criminal. I think it was 7 for 8 with 3 homers.
Ooh.
And when you read it, it's just one after another and hits. Or it might have been 9 for 10, but he just absolutely dominated them. But he knows some guys, or at least they play it off. Oh yeah, I think I've been pretty good against him. He's like, nope, yep, remember it well.
Well, he's got a big hole on the left side with De La Cruz essentially playing behind Dom Smith over there at second base. Three balls and 1 strike. Check down, did not offer according to Trip Gibson. So a single and 2 walks, bases loaded. Stevenson out before Mateo comes to hit, and Derek Johnson, the pitching coach in his 8th year here in Cincinnati, will also stroll to the mound.
It's a tough one here, right? If you don't know what's going on, is there something mechanical he's just missing, right? And not missing all that closely. And so far the conversation has been between Paddock and Stevenson. And Johnson almost looks like he's trying to get a little fired up here.
And coming to the plate, Jorge Mateo. Now, we've talked about Jorge Mateo's story often, but not a ton of starts this year. This is his 20th. But he was 4 for 8 in Boston, and he's been swinging a good bat.
He has been, and he's also been very accepting of his role, right? The way that he has gone about his business, I think, is also greatly appreciated. When the opportunities have been there, he has been ready, he's played hard, and he's gotten results.
Paddock delivers 93 for a strike.
So with these uniforms, if you're not careful, it almost looks like the Cincinnati Reds have 7 infielders.
Yeah, because the umpire, Nick Marley, out there. Oh, 2. I do think you're right. Paddock's socks are the way to go because it breaks up kind of the monochrome situation going on.
Yeah, it helps. And they're old school. It's got stirrups.
Official stirrups.
Yeah. I appreciate that.
Braves looking to add to this lead here in the second. 1-2 to Mateo. Bounces to De La Cruz. On to second. That is all that they will get. So credit Mateo with an RBI as Dom Smith scores. 2-0 Atlanta.
Whatever it takes, and he got it done right after getting down in the count 0-2. This is a good job by Mateo, and you really don't want to hit this ball too hard if it's going to be on the ground in the infield, even with his great speed. Good slide there by, yeah, it's a little bit of contact. We don't see it too often, but perfectly within the rules.
So now they're at the corners. Bottom of the order, the catcher, Chadwick Trump. Shows bunt, but he bunts it foul. Trying to get that next run home in the former Riley down there at third base. This time he keeps the bat back.
I don't think we'll necessarily see, maybe with Mateo being aggressive or at least try to stay out of the double play. Just 1 stolen base against Paddock so far this year. Stevenson has thrown the ball a little bit better than league average.
Nice catch in the upper deck by a young fan. Gets the folks here excited at the Great American Ballpark.
Not bad.
Just average, yeah. We've seen better from an analyst. Last name Nitkowski.
I used to be impressed by these fans.
Not anymore.
Look how far away they are from the field.
Unless it's coming in at 80 miles per hour, don't even talk to us.
I think we're safe in this booth.
Yeah, we're pretty far back. Out toward right center. Dunn will go over, but Riley will tag and come home. Chadwick Trump gets the job done, and Atlanta with an early 3-0 lead.
2 good at bats here in the bottom of the order. Neither one has a hit to show for it, but 2 RBIs, right? Get down in 2 strikes for Mateo, find a way to put the ball in play and get a run in. Same thing here now for Chadwick Trump. 1-2 count, find a way to get the run in, and he does it with a nice sac fly.
Well, the Braves scored 10 yesterday in Boston. Now they get 1 in the first on the Acuna homer, 2 so far in the second, and here's Acuna again. I think Chris Paddock thinking what you were, CJ, that this might be a great spot for Mateo to take off.
I think so. No, certainly Ronald, we know, obviously can drive the ball out of the ballpark the way he's swinging it right now. But I don't mind taking the chance and trying to get in a scoring position. If not, Ronald leads off next inning.
Not going. And Lowe will watch it into the seats as we take a peek at our Georgia Natural Gas Greener Life Impact player. It is Ronald Acuna Jr. This is updated with that homer from last inning.
Pretty amazing to see, and a lot of guys that are wearing this uniform tonight are very comfortable in this ballpark and have been. Mentioned the home runs that they've hit since 2020, most of any team outside of the division, and Ronald is in that group.
Mateo does take off. And he steals second base.
It's a good stolen base. Again, Stevenson throws well. You generally get a pretty quick move from Paddock. But it is elite speed that Jorge Mateo brings to the table.
So now a knock to the outfield. And the Braves can make it 4-0.
A little frustration there from Ronald. I think he knows, especially after hitting that curveball out, that he is going to get attacked up in the zone. That's the one last piece, I think, to this puzzle. When you start seeing him get to fastballs that are middle and up, then you know he's going to really go off. He's gotten to the curveball. Is that sinker down that he hit out for the grand slam? Elevated. Next step.
2 down. Here comes a 2-ball, 2-strike pitch. Elevated again just a bit with that 4-seamer. Full count. When Ronald hit that grand slam yesterday, it was his first grand slam since the historic slam that he had in September of 23 at Dodger Stadium when he reached 30 homers and 60 stolen bases. But this time he's going to take his base on a walk, and the inning will continue, and Michael Harris will come to the plate.
Well, it's only the second inning, but it's 43 pitches. It's been a lot of good swings, and Michael Harris got robbed of a home run last time, and this could be a little bit of a dangerous proposition right now for Chris Paddock.
Braves showing some patience here in this second inning. That is now 3 walks in the frame. Change up 0-1 to Michael Harris. Ground ball, and it is past the diving Lowe. And the Braves are going to get another one. Acuna's going to go for third. Safe. So the Braves offense picking up where it left off in Boston yesterday.
Well, Paddock tried to go back to the changeup. That was the pitch that he threw to Michael at the first pitch. Got a swing and miss. Tried to do it again. Michael's able to time this one up a lot better. The location wasn't as good either. Still cut it off the end a little bit, but a nice job of hitting that hard ground ball that gets through. Good job by Ronald to not let that ball hit him. And because of that, I thought he was going to stay at second. And he almost looked like he tried to deke down a little bit. There was that little kind of stutter step around second base, and he gets in there ahead of the throw.
Nice job sliding to the outside of the bag, away from that tag by Stewart. Here's Matty O. Well, you love to see this. The Braves just coming in.
Yogi Berra was an 18-time All-Star and 10-time World Series champion.
This is the only perfect game in World Series history. You ask him about it, and he would say, it ain't been done before, and it ain't been done since.
David Wells was perfect on May 17th, 1998, Beanie Baby Day.
It's not the pitcher that's calling the game, it's the catcher calling what pitch to throw.
Home plate is 17 inches wide. And so he said, well, if it's more than an inch, and it was a lot more than an inch, then it's an illegal bat.
Well, he is. He's out. Yes, sir. He is out. Look at this. Keep it down a little, will you, please?
Okay, Yogi.
Casey Stengel and the other touring ball players met the King of England.
Of course, with my English, we had a little trouble understanding each other.
As Yogi said, when you come to a fork in the road, take it. Go to baseballhall.org to plan your visit to the National Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum in Cooperstown, New York, and catch every episode of Hall of Fame Connections on MLB.tv.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Bottom of the second, down to Nick Green for the Kia Field Report.
Well, Brandon, we know that Grant Holmes had a pretty nice start last time out against the Washington Nationals. Punched out a season high 10. You heard CJ mention earlier today. He had 18 swings and misses. That was a season high as well. When he's throwing the ball well, it's all about spin. Can he spin the curveball? Can he spin the slider? And I thought last time out was the best he spun it all year long. It should be an interesting matchup today as the Cincinnati Reds really do struggle against spin. 29th in baseball against the slider and curve.
Yeah, it's a great point, and Greeny knows obviously as good as anybody, right? When you're facing that pitcher who's got both of them, slider, curveball, even though this is mostly sliders that you will see, the key then becomes how's he getting ahead of you, right? And that's always important for any pitcher, and then to be able to really use the spin.
He's going to get Suarez to bounce out to Riley. Remember, by the way, it was April of last year in Arizona where Suarez hit the 4 home runs against the Braves, and 3 of them were off of Grant Holmes. So certainly both of those gentlemen remember that day.
Yeah, and Grant turning the page and not thinking about it and getting a nice out there on a hard ground ball. Nice play by Austin Riley. But what we saw with De La Cruz, I think, was a perfectly good example. Get ahead and then really be able to use that spin for chase. That's when you'll see the swing and miss. That's when you'll see the strikeouts.
Another new Red is Nathaniel Lowe. He's at the plate right now playing first base tonight. Ozzie backhands. 2 down.
That'll bring us to our Comcast Business Defend the Mound as we take a look at the highest K percentage on breaking balls. Now, you got to add at least 40 strikeouts here for us to consider putting you on our very special list. And who's at the top of that special list? There he is, our guy, Grant Holmes, 85%. And again, it's both of the breaking balls. He knows how to spin them really well. I think we've seen him learn to use those really well. And it's fun to watch. It's a little bit of a different look. See a little, that's kind of the get me over version of it. And then, of course, you get to 2 strikes. You'll see that one just at the bottom or below the zone.
And you pair that with the thing that we've talked about all year, the 4-seam improvement for Grant Holmes. And he's put together some good outings, obviously striking out 10 in the last performance against the Nationals was a feather in his cap. And he's also had to deal with weather because the last 2 starts, he's had to deal with delays that have ultimately forced him out of the baseball game.
And he's probably pretty happy we're on the road because I believe it's raining at home right now. He would have been dealing with it again.
Yeah, flash flood warnings back there, Gretsch says. But here in Cincinnati, blue skies.
Just flash warnings with all these kids taking their shirts off.
The tarps off craze is everywhere. No matter what park you're at now, you see kids and sometimes, unfortunately, some adults that need to keep the tarps on that are removing them. Oh, called strike 3. And just a 10-pitch inning, kind of strange. Steer's not going to run to first base. We're going to run to the third inning.
They say it's a game of numbers, pero el flow es completamente otra ciencia. Esto es flow mayor.
Dust and papers swirling onto the field, all-star ballots like a mini tornado out there. This will be a wonderful night for the grounds crew. Well, you never know what you're going to see. No, the players all turning away from that wind so they won't get the dust in their eyes. This looks like a scene out of a Humphrey Bogart movie.
Problem now down the left field line is one of the carts looks like it ran out of gas. This is something out of Keystone Cops right here.
Michael Lorenzen might be in the market for a new glove. Chuck that one in the trash can.
Dropped it on the grass as the pitch was coming.
I figure nobody's out here to take it away.
Whoops.
The bat even goes farther as a torpedo when it's thrown into the stands. Look at this.
How do you like that? Have you ever seen that before? It just disappeared.
I thought it might have been a home run.
I feel like food and sharing a meal with someone is a universal language. You can't go to a ballpark and not have a nice hot dog. So if I'm at the ballpark, I'm gonna get a nice heavy glizzy. You gotta have chili on there, you gotta have cheese. If your hot dog isn't bending in the middle because it's like about to fall apart, then you're not doing it right. So you gotta have a glizzy and then something cold, whatever it is, beer, lemonade. You gotta have something cold to wash that hot dog down with.
The third inning is brought to you by Audi. Experience the all-new Audi Q3 at your local Atlanta area Audi dealer. 79 degrees here in the Queen City of Cincinnati. Brandon, CJ, and Nick with you on the banks of the Ohio River. Great start for the Braves, and the Braves fans that are here enjoying a 4-0 lead. The Braves had kind of gotten into a lull. The last 6 games, they had not scored in the first 3 innings of any of those contests. Most of the offense, when it had been there, even yesterday, came later in the game. But today, the Braves jumping on top early.
I imagine this place probably has those same kind of feelings and emotions for hitters when we get ready to go to Colorado. You know there's going to be a good chance. You take a look at kind of how the starting pitching is lined up. You're staying away from their current ace in Chase Burns and feeling like we can't get there quick enough.
Shallow, long run out there, but Friedel will make his way to it, and Ozzie is 0 for 2. Yeah, you could see when I was down there and you were down there with me watching batting practice, the guys kind of had a little extra pep in their step, and Ronald and Ozzie were seeing who could hit the ball the farthest, which is common for them, and then they were challenging Matt to hit it further than they did. And so there's something different here at the Great American Ballpark.
And even with it being a little bit warmer too, they know the ball's going to carry more because of it.
Yeah, that's a real thing, and it's getting to be that time of year. Dom Smith grounds it. Steer stops and pops to his feet to make a nice play. A quick message here from Delta.
From Braves country to the world. Delta, official airline of the Atlanta Braves.
Riley walked and scored last inning. time at the last second there by Stevenson to get on the same page with his hurler because the pitch clock was dwindling.
I think this is part of it with Chris Paddock and maybe some of the frustration. I mentioned how he doesn't necessarily execute the fastball at the top of the zone the way that he should. And so here he is now, new team, third start with the Cincinnati Reds, and there's a game plan that I think they're trying to get right. And he's been around long enough, too, that he could be stubborn. I'm not saying he is, but you run into that as a new guy. You have a way that you like to do things, and you get the impression that's kind of part of the process in Cincinnati. They see the stuff, but maybe there's a different way that they would like to use it that he is not necessarily used to or comfortable with.
Parts of 8 big league seasons for Paddock. He induces a high pop off the bat of Riley. So after shaky innings in the first and second, he retires the Braves in order in the third on just 8 pitches.
Just when we think we've seen it all, baseball gives us something new to talk about.
Splits 2 defenders and makes a great grab.
The kick is good, right through the flying uprights.
Whoa, went down inside his chest protector.
That's not a catch?
Make way for Batman.
People would love this if we did Lady and the Tramp.
Ronald Acuna Jr. pouring dirt into Ozzie Albies' glove.
He flips the entire glove to first base. Fast and furious and dead on.
Now let's dive into this week's top plays.
Is pulled and a leaping grab by Shoebake.
Carson Bench with a pulchritudinous play. Moving fast toward big league stardom.
Randy Rosarena! Superman catch! What a leaping grab by Quan.
And those 39-year-old legs are still cooking.
Oh, are you kidding me, Petey? Help it! Oh, hey now, hey now. What a play by Ryan McMahon. How about that?
Sometimes artifacts in the collection of the Hall of Fame can tell multiple stories. This is the earliest known Yankees baseball cap in existence. It tells a story of a very early baseball cap and of a guy who just had a cup of coffee in the big leagues. But there's actually a hidden story inside this cap. There's another name written in the cap. So who's Dolan?
Third inning is brought to you by Audi. Experience the all-new Audi Q3 at your local Atlanta area Audi dealer. Cincinnati Metro coming right into your living room. Sean Farnham, when we told you to play in traffic, we were kidding. Keep yourself safe, our photographer getting these gorgeous shots.
Cutting that a little bit close for comfort. It was a great shot. We're glad that shooter's okay.
And I'm glad the Braves are on top 4-0. Grant Holmes back to work here against 8-9-1, starting with Stevenson. Off the glove of Riley. Almost had it. Would have been a great play, but instead, it's the first hit of the ball game for the Reds.
It's an 0-1 slider from Grant Holmes. You mentioned it. Austin Riley was there. Almost made this great play. Needed probably a couple more inches to be able to corral it.
The leadoff man aboard, and now the center fielder, T.J. Friedl. They had him in the leadoff spot, but he has not been producing, so they've dropped him to the bottom of the order. And he shows bunt and takes the first pitch. And because of his woes at the plate, he's begun to lose a little bit of playing time over the past couple of weeks.
What he has seen, he's always been a pretty good contact hitter. He's seen the contact rate go down. He has seen the strikeouts go up, and that is what has led to a rough go of it so far this year.
And he's down here, a ball and 2 strikes. Holmes just 10 pitches in a quick second, so in a pretty good spot pitch count wise. This will be his 30th of the evening. Thinking back foot slider, swing and a miss.
Probably a good idea. Now use that changeup as well. You can always run it off the plate to try to get some chase. Looks like they're set up outside.
There you go. It's the changeup, and Friedel is down on strikes. 3 Ks for Grant Holmes.
Good one here. Cut a little bit on him, but still a good pitch because of where it finishes. And it's that kick change that we see from Grant Holmes as we take a look at our John Foy and Associates, the strong arm. How about over his last 3 starts? 2.40 ERA, 3 home runs allowed, 19 punch outs. Seen good Grant Holmes here lately.
My favorite shot of the season from our camera crew was the last game when he was walking off during the heavy rain with a hair flowing and slow-mo shot. Hard to beat.
It needed its own music.
And he gets ahead of Blake Dunn here, 0-2. Dunn is done, and so are the Reds. No, they're not. There's 2 outs. Got too excited there, but there's 4 strikeouts for Grant Holmes. He made quick work of Blake Dunn.
If I had something as witty as Dunn is done, I would have wanted the inning to end too, because that was awesome, and it would have been a great way to walk it off. But there's the good use, get ahead and then expand. Textbook for Grant Holmes and Chadwick Trump back there.
And now Ellie De La Cruz. Here's the rain shot if you missed it.
And so we can't use licensed music, but give me some Purple Rain to this right here.
Absolutely. You want to sing it for us?
No, that's
okay.
that will also cost us some dollars and everybody else some heartache.
It's this right here as he starts to walk.
Oh, sorry.
I think you have a nice voice, CJ. A couple of foul balls off of De La Cruz. And with a City Connect jersey, too. Come on.
Should be his Christmas card this year. Take a free shot of that.
Not even put his wife Sammy on there, just kick her to the curb.
They go on the back. That's a great picture. The Braves, how about if they do a calendar next year? And there's your Mr. Whatever month you want, right? That'd be a nice calendar picture.
Yep. With Wiley as Mr. December.
Yeah, always.
Holmes trying to strike out the side here. He got De La Cruz swinging in the first.
Wiley was happy today. Georgia Tech laid it on, what was the University of Indiana, Illinois, Chicago?
UIC, yep. Crushed him. Seventh pitch of the at-bat. 3-2 from Holmes. Who's going to take it? Mateo. De La Cruz runs so well, but not well enough. Tremendous play at short by Jorge Mateo to send us to the 4th.
We told you what this guy brings to the table. It's been limited playing time, but when he's been out there, he has been making things happen. And that was a beautiful play.
The 2-2. Tipped into the glove, hung on to by Wells, and Cole has fanned Witt 2 down.
Well, I really like the free-flowing delivery from the windup from Garrett Cole. He looks so smooth, right? Everything's flowing, under control, and then right at the end, some zip on that fastball by a really good fastball hitter.
Swing and a miss on another changeup.
To finish him off, fastball in previously, changeup fading away. So from 96 to 86, we've seen knuckle curves down in the low 80s. We've seen sliders in the mid to upper 80s.
The 0-2. Swing and a miss, chasing a slider. A 1-2-3 fourth for Cole. He has already struck out 7, 8 pitches he needed in the fourth. Yeah. Not there. Strikeout number 9 for Garrett Cole. He is absolutely shoving through 5 innings.
There's another ball. It scoots over near the Phillies dugout, and this ball is going to try to, it stays on the lip, and Schmidt's going to try to come home. Nobody's covering. Oh my goodness. The New York Mets flat fell asleep. No one covered home. I have never in my life seen that.
Well, we certainly served it up over the plate. This is a burger fit for a home run king, the 99 burger in honor of Aaron Judge. They sell a bazillion of these at Yankee Stadium. It looks pretty good. I feel like we passed the test. What about you?
I think so.
No one does business like Comcast Business.
What is tonight?
Brandon, it's Friday.
Okay.
That means it's the Friday Night Shooting!
The audio guys just panicked.
Sorry.
Who's it brought to you by?
Kaiser Permanente, still getting it done for us every Friday. We appreciate them.
Our good friends at Kaiser Permanente. And we appreciate you spending your Friday night with us. The Braves, 3 games in Boston, winning 2 of those. Now on to Cincinnati to finish off this 6-game road trip. And Yastrzemski walked in the second, leads off the fourth. How about the 7th spot in the batting order for the Braves this year? Those numbers will play.
And it's led to a lot of what's happening right now with this offense. And when we've seen them at their best, right? We'll talk about it all the time. How deep does your lineup run? Well, the 7-hole has been crushing it this season for the Braves. Best in baseball.
Those numbers at the bottom in Boston, it was Mateo and Harris doing that damage from the 7th spot in the order. They'll check, but it's 2-2. Talked about how Paddock's been around and he's bounced around not only this year, but it's the 5th time that he started against the Braves, but in 4 different uniforms. They saw him a while back in a Padres uniform, then with the Twins earlier this year with the Marlins, and now the Reds. And Yastrzemski has absolutely owned Chris Paddock, and that continues here tonight. A walk and a single for Yaz.
And he does a nice job coming back from 0-2, right? Goes 0-2, 3-2. Get yourself a fastball that you can handle and turn it into a nice base hit here in the right field. This is a quality at bat from Mike Yastrzemski. Nearly offered on that pitch out of the zone. They said he didn't offer at it, didn't swing, and now he's got a base hit instead.
And now Mateo tries to lay down a bunt.
The thing about Paddock, I was talking to Darren O'Day about this before the game. You look at him, you get excited about what we'll call the nerdy numbers, right? The induced vertical break. It is elite level that he has with that fastball, one of the best in the game, but he hasn't necessarily had the results. That is going to get him more and more opportunities in today's front offices.
But then the question becomes, okay, how do you hone all of that and make it successful? Because clearly this year, like he's had some moments in his career, you go through the numbers, but it's been a big struggle here in 2026.
That's where the ego comes in for those teams. Oh, we can get this right. There's the stuff. Let's get our hands on him, get him in our lab. And again, it still can be done. It's just a matter of really consistency, it seems like.
The Marlins signed him out of high school in Texas back in 2015 in the 8th round. He had committed to Texas A&M but went the pro route. All these years later, 11 years later, here he is with the Reds. Mateo bounces it, foul, it stays 1-2. Tommy Watkins, nice play over there. Take a bow, Tommy. And if you were with our broadcast when Paddock started with the Marlins in April at Truist Park, we told you about his deep Texas roots and how his nickname is the Sheriff. Often wears a cowboy hat and boots to the stadium for his starts. On brand. Mateo grounder sharply to third. And they just do get Mateo at a 5-4-3 double play. That was close. We'll see if the Braves want to take a peek.
Mateo's headed back in, and maybe him not believing that there's going to be a chance that they challenge this, which they will not. We talked about the softer ground ball and how that worked to his favor. This time he hits one pretty well, and that's a good turn as they just barely get Jorge Mateo.
Yeah, 103 off the bat. Most guys, it's a pretty easy out at first, but not with Mateo running. Now Chadwick Trop. Trop out to left center. Bleday will go over and grab it. So a leadoff single, but nothing for the Braves at the top of the.
How about that for Valdez? His first big league hit is his first big league home run. Reed Detmers, and he was mighty impressive today. He ended up striking out 14 and did not walk a single batter.
What a win! Oh, the milkman in the house. That's what I'm talking about, Birdland. Colton Cowser, an absolute bomb. The Marlins walked off the meds with a grand slam. It's the Marlins who are the kings of Queens. Game over. Aaron Judge ends it with a 2-run walk-off homer.
His 8th career walk-off overall, and the Yankees win it 2-0 on that swing from Aaron Judge.
Well, we certainly served it up over the plate. This is a burger fit for a home run king, the 99 burger in honor of Aaron Judge. They sell a bazillion of these at Yankee Stadium. It looks pretty good. I feel like we passed the test. What about you?
I think so. Braves.com/promos.
Power stacks in right center here, Great American Ballpark. Let's talk about Walt Weiss and the start for Walt Weiss's first year as a Braves skipper. Working on a win, brought to you by the Home Depot. Hanley, Weiss, and Hart. You might not know those other two names, but you know Walt Weiss. You think about going all the way back to 1889, and these are the best starts for a manager.
It's pretty cool for Walt, and the great job that he has done, what the team has done behind him as well, and impressive to see when you look at the list and start thinking about the history. Now, I think the more we spend time with Walt and listen to him talk and how he leads as a manager, only one thing's going to matter at the very end of this thing, right? And that's that the Braves are playing in the last game of the season and winning it in that postseason, but really cool.
Most wins in baseball. And if Atlanta can take 2 of 3 from the Reds this weekend, and obviously they're off to a good start, they'll reach 40 wins before June for the first time in franchise history. This is going to get Cincinnati on the board. A no-doubter by Bleday.
Curveball first pitch, 4-seam fastball here. Chadwick Trop wants that inner third, and it leaks back over the plate, right? The 4-seamer, you want it to stay true. You want it to stay straight. And instead, it was out there where J.J. Bleday could get to it, get his arms extended.
And he continues to go on a tear here against right-handed pitching for the Reds.
393 feet, 109 miles per hour off the bat to make it 4-1. Now Sal Stewart. Now this is one that Braves fans may not be familiar with. He's a 22-year-old rookie. Was the number 32 pick in the 22 draft by the Reds. And he came out hot. He was the rookie of the month in April. And you can see 12 homers, 36 driven in. So he's had a solid season. And he has a solid at bat here. Drops it down the line. It's going to be a stand-up double for Sal Stewart.
One of the things we've noted with Grant Holmes, as you take a look at his slider, that Sal Stewart is able to pull down the line, pops out of his hand a little bit, right, goes up first, so he gets a better look at it. But for Grant Holmes, the 1 inning has been kind of the consistency throughout his start. So there's 1 inning that seems to get away from him, and no real rhyme or reason to it. The big thing is making sure you don't have that big inning, right? The home run's one thing. Now it's a double, man on second, nobody out. Figure out a way to kind of slow down the train.
And now he's got to face Eugenio Suarez. He did get him to ground out back in the second. Crazy thing about that 4-homer game that Suarez had last year against the Braves, Braves fans might remember, the Braves won that game 7-6.
Yeah, good one. I bet you we looked it up at the time. How many times the players hit 4 home runs in a game and his team lost?
It had happened before, but it was very few.
And this is what you know about Eugenio Suarez, right? There's a fastball count. You go with the changeup. He is going to be taking those big swings all the time, right? It is who he is. There'll be some swing and miss. There'll be strikeouts. The exchange usually is going to be home runs.
Yeah, he hit 49 homers last year, did Suarez, tying a career high. Only a few this season. Payoff pitch, and he sends it foul.
He struggled a little bit when he got to Seattle, back to the Seattle Mariners after that time in Arizona where he hit just 189, did have 13 of those home runs that you were talking about, but the OPS came down by better than 200 points, and it's kind of where he is now, sub 700 so far here with the Reds.
Holmes went at him with a 93-mile-per-hour sinker.
That's the frustrating one. I mean, they're all frustrating when you have a guy with 2 strikes and now he's fouled off 3 different pitches, but that was a really good slider that he just got. That's the one you expect to get the out on, and Suarez spoiled it.
Pitch number 9 here of the at-bat. And he bounces it into the well. Still 3-2. And he gets Suarez to hit it high in the air in the direction of Matt Olson. And he'll grab it in foul ground for the first out.
That's big. Right, your home run double, 10 pitch at bat to Eugenio Suarez. You lose that at bat, whether you walk him or you give up a hit. Now you start to get concerned. For Walt Weiss, that might have even gotten the bullpen going a little bit. So it was a very important out from Grant Holmes after 10 pitches.
It's CJ. I want to chime in real fast. I think at bats like this, and you might agree with me, might disagree, being able to use all the pitches, even though it's a frustrating at bat, that's going to help you down the road.
Runner takes off for third. Good throw. And they got him easily. Sal Stewart was trying to slip over to third base, but Chadwick Tromp had other plans.
Thought about challenging it. They're not going to do it. This is a gift right here from the Cincinnati Reds. You have Grant Holmes right now back against the wall. Good pitch to handle. Good throw there from Chadwick Tromp. And not even close. Just can't happen. Can't get thrown out at third base trying to steal by that much when you're down and you got a pitcher on the ropes.
Yeah, maybe a rookie mistake there by Stewart. What were you saying in response to Nick's comments?
So Greeny was talking about Greeny, you were saying from Grant Holmes' perspective, or
yes,
from Smart?
exactly.
Yeah, to use them all. I agree. Whatever it takes, it's rewarding because again, it's super deflating, and that's when you learn about staying away from the beginning when something like that doesn't go your way. You feel like you do everything right. Guy still gets on. You've thrown everything you have at him, like Greeny was saying. And if you're not careful, all of a sudden that inning now just completely gets away from you and you don't finish it.
Nathaniel Lowe launches it 4-2.
Hitters count for Nathaniel Lowe there, 3-1, gets a cutter from Grant Holmes. Not a bad one, inner third, but there's some really big thump in the bat of Nathaniel Lowe. He's bounced around a little bit over the last couple of years, but the power has stayed. Can the guy catch it?
Oh, one-handed.
All right, I'm impressed.
It wasn't coming in as hot as the one to the booth, though, CJ.
I don't know. The one hand still had a drink in his other hand, right?
And wearing a Braves jersey.
Yeah, Matt Olson, so it's fine. And listen, Grant doesn't love giving up that homer, but think about how much worse that could have been, right? You have the 10-pitch at bat. You have a guy getting thrown out at third.
And now this to center that kind of fooled Michael Harris. And it drops for Steer.
I'm not sure Michael would have caught this anyway. But you're absolutely right, and maybe off the end of the bat a little bit. It was hit hard. I don't know if there was just some funky spin or what. Michael had gone back first. I think he just kind of slipped when he went to go step forward, which is now two outfielders that we have seen lose their footing here. Keep an eye on that in Cincinnati.
Blade tripped earlier and left. Jeremy Hefner to the mound. Batter will be the catcher Tyler Stevenson, who singled last inning. The last start for Holmes that we mentioned against the Nationals when he went 5 and gave up 2 runs. Those 2 runs came on a pair of solo homers. Well, now he's in the 4th inning. He's given up 2 runs on a pair of solo homers. Yeah, slider 0-2.
Do it again. I would, right? Take a chance here at Chase. It's a nice job with the 4-seamer. He chased up out of the zone. Now he chases a slider out of the zone. Gives Stevenson an opportunity to get himself out.
Longest inning so far for Grant Holmes, 25th pitch of the frame. Yeah, he went back to it. Now number 66 will throw his 67th pitch of the night. A challenge from Chadwick Tromp.
Catcher challenging the call of ball.
Maybe just below is a good pitch, right? It's one you want. You're frustrated you didn't get the swing. And I think the emotion sometimes cause you to challenge these.
Call is confirmed. Atlanta has 1 challenge remaining.
Challenge powered by T-Mobile.
That's the closest home we've seen yet.
That is less than a tenth of an inch.
You can't get a piece of paper in between there.
You can't fault Chadwick Trump for that. 2-2. Fouled back.
Now it becomes about the comfort level of throwing that slider inside the strike zone. Now, not just a little get me over, but being aggressive toward the corner. When change-up fastball, he's late on that fastball. Let's say late. He fouled it straight back. Oh, that's good.
You want that right there?
I mean, of course you want to clip the corner of the zone. But the fact that he chased one so bad earlier, you feel like if I throw that one, he'll swing at it. And all of a sudden now for Stevenson, he's turned on the discipline tool, I guess, out of nowhere.
But it looks like Holmes is going to get him and get out of the fourth inning. Pair of solo homers, 4-2.
During the offseason of 1888 to 1889, Spalding took a group of big leaguers on the first worldwide barnstorming tour.
This is Spalding.
Yes.
You look at the Spalding, you're like, wait a second. No, this is the backstory. Okay, this is great.
Stops included New Zealand, Italy, France, and even Egypt, where they played in front of the pyramids. Spalding's contributions to baseball history don't end there.
Do you know the story of Doubleday and the invention of baseball?
Please
tell us.
Enlighten us.
When a 71-year-old Cooperstown native came forward, baseball officially had a birthplace in Cooperstown.
If I'm in the presence of this baseball, does it give you powers to become a better baseball player?
I've been here 5 years and playing baseball through all of it. I don't think I've gotten better.
And whether it's the World Series or the wonders of the ancient world, there's no debating that baseball connects us all.
Go to baseballhall.org to plan your visit to the National Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum in Cooperstown, New York, and catch every episode of Hall of Fame Connections on MLB.tv.
They say it's a game of numbers, pero el flow es completamente otra ciencia. Mi trabajo es sencillo, cachar ese ritmo que solo nuestra gente tira y regarlo por toda la temporada. Flow mayor is where all those rhythms meet. Porque el flow no es de un solo jugador, es de un corillo entero que prende estadio. De San Diego a Santo Domingo y cada parada en el camino. Cuando estamos activos, la liga sube de nivel. Esto es Flow Mayor.
At Fenway, and the solo shot here, the first today in Cincy.
He's feeling it right now. The swing has looked good. I think the confidence builder, doesn't matter who you are, this game can get inside your mind a little bit. Seeing that grand slam, the reaction, the kiss of the bat, the home run against the curveball from Paddock, and no doubter. Ronald has enjoyed both of those, and he is feeling saucy.
He also reached via a free pass in the second inning. Now he leads off the fifth. This time an innocent little pop, shallow into the grass. One away. You played in this ballpark, right?
I had to be reminded. I couldn't remember yet. So 04, when a little bit of time I spent with the Braves, I pitched a couple of games here. So if you're asking me what I remember about it, I just barely remember that I was even here. Listen, they start to run together. You start coming in as a broadcaster, and it's a sad day when you can't remember which ballparks you pitched in.
But this is the organization that drafted CJ 9th overall back in '94. Debut a year later.
Traded at that deadline for David Wells off to Detroit. It was a wild first year in baseball, which you just won't see him anymore. You don't have general managers that are nearly that aggressive. Played in 4 different cities, different levels, 2 big league teams. Your first full year in baseball, AA, AAA, and 2 big league teams.
Batter challenging the call strike.
Now Michael Harris taking a chance here. If he loses this, the Braves are out of them. And they are out of them.
Call is confirmed. Atlanta is out of challenges.
Hopefully that will not loom large later. But then Michael takes a 1-2 changeup and slaps it through the left side.
And the lefties are starting to see a lot of changeups here from Chris Paddock, and think Michael was ready for it. His base hit in the second inning was against a changeup. Matt Olson had seen a bunch. And here comes another one, and it's off the plate. But that's what we talk about with Michael. Walt has talked about it, the ability to cover pitches outside the zone and do it with some authority. That one not as hard as some others. That's just a really nice piece of hitting from Michael.
So he has a couple of hits and an RBI, continuing his great season. Matt Olson now.
Chris Paddock has gotten a little bit settled in after giving up those 4 runs over the first 2 innings. He had the 1, 2, 3 in the third and only faced 3 hitters last inning because of the double play. Good time to disrupt that.
Michael Harris goes for second base. Save. Ellie De La Cruz thinks he got him.
It's really close. Whether or not the tag got down in front of Michael's hand, that's what this one seems all about. They're going to challenge it. What's the matter? Did they tag that left hand? It looks like De La Cruz got it. Yeah.
Cincinnati is challenging the safe call at second base.
They're just announcing that now. What have they been doing?
Yeah, they were talking before turning on the microphone. Crew Chief Marvin Hudson. You can hear the reaction.
That might be the downside of wearing the bright colors. Maybe you should wear dirt-colored gloves.
I always think it's interesting. You've got Marvin Hudson, Ryan Blakeney. They're watching this as everybody in the stadium is, and they know it's out, but they're waiting on New York, understandably, to tell them officially.
After review, the call on the field is overturned. The runner is out. Cincinnati will retain the challenge.
So 2 down, base is empty.
It's a good pick and tag, too, from De La Cruz, right? That throw in the dirt, and he keeps the glove there, right? Some guys, they pick it, and they will bring the glove up, but he held it down very nicely right in front of the base.
An improved defender out there at shortstop, Ellie De La Cruz, after he led baseball in errors the last couple of seasons. This one will drop. So a curveball that Matt Olson sends to left center.
So not only do the umpires, if you look real quickly, look like they're playing infield, but then in the case of Nick Marley, in a situation like this, base hit, and you're by Ellie De La Cruz, he makes you look 4'3".
Yeah, Ellie towers over him at 6'6" out there.
A couple Georgia kids right there, right? Nathaniel Lowe. I forgot what high school he went to. I should know that. I covered it for a few years.
I think it's Pope.
That's right. And they're right around the same age. They're pretty old. Lowe's probably a little bit older than Maddie, right? I'm trying to think. They may have played some travel ball together over the years or against each other. And Nathaniel is 30 years old and Matt 32, so there might have been a little bit of crossover. Certainly in high school. Parkview Pope.
Parkview Pope. Yeah, Nathaniel Lowe, you saw him with the Texas Rangers. Had a couple of good years there, and then last season in Washington, he really struggled, and they released him.
Yeah, he was a heartbreaker for him when he got traded to the Washington Nationals. He was really getting settled in the community in Dallas. It was hard for him. Everyone just kind of assumes these guys are robots and they go wherever they're supposed to go.
Stevenson back. Speaking of Atlanta kids, another one there in Stevenson behind the plate. They also have one in Will Benson on the bench. And another one in the bullpen in Zach Maxwell. So a lot of former Braves fans wearing Reds uniforms tonight.
Kennesaw Mountain High School for Stevenson, and similar in age, 29 years old, and it's been a hotbed. The talent that we have in Georgia at the amateur levels is pretty impressive.
This gets away from Stevenson. And Matt Olson into scoring position.
Can't believe this ball didn't bounce in the dugout. It is a changeup that gets spiked and just kind of takes a weird bounce right off the forearm of Stevenson. It looked like it was ticketed for the dugout, but it ended up catching a piece of padding and stayed in bounds in play.
Two balls and two strikes here to Ozzie. Full count. Yesterday against Boston, 3 for 5, a homer and a double after not having any extra base hits through the previous 19. And he's going to fly to right here. We are halfway home in Cincinnati.
They say it's a game of numbers, pero el flow es completamente otra ciencia. Flow mayor is where all those rhythms meet. Porque el flow no es de un solo jugador, es de un corillo entero que prende estadio. De San Diego a Santo Domingo y cada parada en el camino. Cuando estamos activos, la liga sube de nivel. Esto es Flow Mayor.
Just when we think we've seen it all, baseball gives us something new to talk about.
Splits two defenders and makes a great grab.
The kick is good, right through the flying uprights. Whoa, went down inside his chest protector.
That's not a catch?
Make way for Batman.
People would love this if we did Lady in the Tramp.
Ronald Acuna Jr. pouring dirt into Ozzie Albies' glove.
He flips the entire glove to first base.
Fast and furious and dead on.
Now let's dive into this week's top plays.
Is pulled and a leaping grab by Shoebake.
Carson Bench with a pulchritudinous play.
Moving fast toward big league stardom.
Randy Rosarena! Superman catch! What a leaping grab by Quan.
And those 39-year-old legs are still cooking.
Oh, are you kidding me, Petey? Help it!
Oh, hey now, hey now. What a play by Ryan McMahon. How about that?
You are looking at our future surgeons presented by Kaiser Permanente. Hopefully when they're in the operating room, they've got their tarps on. It's just the patient that's tarps off.
Let's keep it sanitary in the operating room, please.
Summer is here, and the kids are at the ballpark. A bunt. Riley bare hands, but not able to make the play. And TJ Friedel with a bunt single. He bunts about as much as anybody in baseball, and he dropped down a beauty.
You mentioned it earlier, some of the struggles that he has had with the bat, and not a bad idea when you have the kind of speed and the comfort level, especially as a left-handed hitter. A couple extra steps that you get toward first base, pretty well executed.
Lineup card flips over. Blake Dunn.
We get a little action right now in the Braves bullpen. As you can see, Didier Fuentes has started to throw. Another phone call has gone down to JP Martinez with some instructions right now, whether it's a hitter that they identify in the lineup who they want him to be ready for, or sometimes it'll just be get going quicker, right? They may say one thing, guy gets on, and they want him to go a little bit faster.
And as a pitcher, is all of that information relayed to you, or do they just want you to stay focused?
No, 100% they tell you, so you can pace yourself accordingly, right? Especially for Fuentes, he's still learning the role. Once you get comfortable, that communication becomes extremely important.
Acuna will have it right near the chalk. And there's the first out.
because then you know how to pace yourself, right? That is what becomes so important. That's what you learn about being a reliever when you get up. How fast do you go? A lot of times when you do it for the first time, you've been a starter, you just come out firing and you keep throwing and throwing and throwing, and that's not where you want to be. You see JP Martinez kind of looking and seeing, keeping an eye on, making sure nobody's coming out. But it could be, be ready for De La Cruz. Doesn't mean you're definitely going in, right? Like if Dunn gets on, then you're in. If he doesn't, then you go hitter by hitter. And hitter by hitter is that language that tells you, like, you could be in at any moment. So just leave a little bit left in the tank to go ahead and throw a couple of hot ones, but you might not go in for 2 more hitters either. So don't empty the tank in the pen. I learned that lesson at Old Riverfront Stadium. I was a starter, but Davey Johnson had me throw a game in the bullpen, and I didn't know what to do. I'm down there, and I'm kind of like somewhat stretching it out and going really slow. And Xavier Hernandez looks over to me. He goes, "What in the hell are you doing?" I was like, "I'm just getting ready." He goes, "You got to get on the mound and start throwing. You got to hurry. You're not getting ready for a start." Like, they may need you in a hitter or two. I didn't know. I was 22 years old and I'd never been a reliever.
Like, hey, it's a little quicker out here in the bullpen, buddy. Did you pitch that game, I assume?
I did. It was before the All-Star break, so there was a little bit more time, and got my guy ground ball, covered first base. The toss came to me, and I dropped it.
Oh.
Davey was not happy.
De La Cruz down with a fastball. That's a good strikeout there for Grant Holmes, his 5th of the night.
That's a huge one. You're absolutely right. 94 miles an hour just off the plate. That is great location to take advantage of some of that aggressiveness that you get from De La Cruz in a 1-2 count.
And now J.J. Bleday, who hit a missile out of here back in the 4th inning, and now in the 5th inning, he singles to right. So he's reached all 3 times tonight, has Bleday, and the runners are at the corners.
Tough spot here right now, and this is where Walt has done such a great job in making these decisions, and I think he might go get Grant Holmes. There's the part of you that is saying one more out, put Grant Holmes in a position to get a win here, right? 5th inning. I don't think Walt ever thinks in those terms. It's about winning the game, period, and he believes bringing Fuentes in right now is going to give him that best chance.
Back to Cincinnati in just a moment.
Shallow right, coming on and making the catch is done.
Softly hit, he thrown up. That is a heck of a play by PCA. Oh, and he made the catch into the ivy.
Lake Dunn leaping grab and he makes it. Smashes into the fence.
And a ground ball up the middle. Spinning is Jimenez. The dig by Vladdy, and they got him.
The middle base. No! What a play by Adames. And he defied gravity on that one.
Bouncing ball. Manzano knocks it down. Throw to first is in time.
Ground ball up the middle. Diving stop, sliding. Lau throws to first on a hop, and he got him.
One towards second. Oh, baby. Oh, between the
wickets. And Michael Busch hangs on.
Caught at second base with a great jumping grab by Matt McClain.
Mighty Mac.
What a play.
Vargas well off the bag, makes a nifty play. Clark gets there.
Puedes ser el dueño de grandes momentos del béisbol. MLB Auction te permite participar en la subasta de bates, bolas y jerseys autografiados, con artículos de tus equipos de grandes ligas favoritos, leyendas y jugadores. Visita auctions.mlb.com.
Grant Holmes was really hoping he could get out of the 5th. He was shaking his head coming off the mound, and then this reaction, throwing the glove over in the dugout.
And I think Walt's okay with that, right? It's not about the Walt decision. It's about him wanting to get deeper in games. He listens to Chris Sale talk about that kind of stuff all the time. Every starter wants to be that guy. But Walt sees an opportunity right now to shut down this rally, keep this lead, and so he makes the decision to go get Fuentes.
And Fuentes will be facing Sal Stewart. So you got a 20-year-old pitching to a 22-year-old. couple of budding stars, and Fuentes starts with 99 and a strike.
He's getting more and more comfortable in this role. Obviously, Walt is more comfortable with him and giving him a couple of inherited runners. He's taken on 6 so far this year. 2 have scored.
And he's quickly ahead of Stewart here, 0-2. Runners at the corners. Fuentes trying to keep it a 4-2 ball game. 0-2 pitch. Line drive, and it drops. It is 4-3, and the tying run is now at third base. On an 0-2 pitch.
Not the pitch you want, not the location. I was watching Chadwick Tromp as he set up, and he was giving this target away, and I thought he was giving maybe a little bit too much of the strike zone in a 2-strike count. I don't mind the fastball, but you don't want it in that location. Velocity doesn't matter. That's 0-2. Right? You get that great slider, go outside the zone. You got a young hitter who's had some issues here lately. Put a little extra pressure on him, and even at triple digits, you did him a favor.
And now, even though he's struggling a bit this year, you've got Suarez, the veteran, at the plate. Braves pounced on the Reds early. Acuna with a homer to start the ball game, then 3 more in the second. But a pair of solo homers in the 4th for the Reds, and that one here in the 5th, and we got a ball game. 1-2.
All sliders so far. We'll see if we get another one. I don't mind the fastball at all, especially in, up and in, and even in the zone.
Now fastball 100 that time. 2-2. Nathaniel Lowe would be next. A 3-2, and he got him to expand. Fuentes striking out Suarez with a slider. 4-3.
There he is, the big man. 12th start of the season for Paul Skeens. Skeens making his 67th career start. ZR8 on the season, and even 3. His career earned run average 213.
Here's a 3-2. Swing and a miss out in front of the sweeper. Skeens strikes out the side. He has fanned 5 of the first 6 batters he's faced tonight. Down go the Cubs again. They're 6-4 this year. There's a swing and a miss. Amaya down on strikes again. He's got 99 in there above the zone for the first out of the 5th. 2-2. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Down and away changeup. 10 strikeouts for Skeens, and he'll walk off the mound with a wry smile. He's in control tonight.
Back in in Cincinnati. Great American Ballpark. Museum here inside the park. As we go to the 6th inning, Atlanta with a 4-3 lead. It's on to the bullpen now for the Reds. So Paddock is out. They just got Junior Marte called up today from AAA, and this is his first big league appearance since August of 24.
And you can see how the career has gone for him so far. Slightly below league average strikeout rate. But he's got a good arm. That sinker right there, two-seam fastball at 97 miles an hour.
Braves last saw him in 2024 when he was with the Phillies. Then he went and pitched last year in Japan, pitched well, and that led to an opportunity with the Reds organization.
He was a Chunichi Dragon.
I always let you pronounce those because you played over there. You know what's going on.
And he did well. It's a tough one because I'm sure they wanted him back, right? You take the guaranteed money, or do you look for that opportunity in the States? And some guys will stay, prefer to kind of have the guaranteed thing once they get comfortable. A lot of guys get hungry to want to come back to the United States. And that organization in particular in Japan has always had a pretty good hold on the Latin American countries. And a lot of Latin American players, especially pitchers, over the years.
And Marte from the Dominican Republic. Dom Smith 1 for 2. Just reaches his bat out, flips it down the line, and it's into the seats.
Had an interesting conversation with Dom today. He came on my radio show, and we were just talking about kind of being that guy who was only playing against right-handed pitching for the most part. And he did get the start yesterday against the lefty. He told me that he went and talked to Walt about it a little bit and just wanted to let him know he was comfortable. He knows it hasn't happened very often, but if you want me in there against the lefty, you start against the lefty, just so you know I'm going to play so I'm comfortable that I can handle it.
Well, he takes this pitch from the righty and slaps it out to left field for a leadoff single. Hey, Braves fans, it is flash sale time. Watch your Atlanta Braves take on the Pirates June 5th through the 7th. Receive 33% off tickets in select location. That means weekend tickets starting at $24. Go to Braves.com/flash sale to take advantage before tonight at midnight.
They got some of those old World Series trophies there in Cincinnati. The first one going back to 1919.
97 riding in here and hitting Austin Riley.
Well, that was the issue for Marte in the minor leagues when he was pitching in Louisville. He had command issues. 12 walks in 19 in the third innings. You know, so hit a batter, and now he's got himself a hit batter here in the big leagues again.
Thankfully, it got Austin on that guard, but you still feel 97. So Braves in a good position here to get some insurance. A little more cushion. A strike to Yastrzemski.
See that as a little bit of a surprise that they went to the righty, right? You got left, right, left. They have 3 lefties down in the bullpen in Cincinnati. They go with the guy that just got here from the minor leagues that has some control issues.
And their bullpen should be fresh. They had 2 rainouts last weekend, and then they were off yesterday.
I think it's one of the differences. Now I get it, you're down 1, but since you have 3, I feel like you'd want to play those matchups and maybe not. I don't think Walt would have pinch hit there, but you know he picks his spots, and when he does it, you never know.
And that one almost bounced away from Stevenson. Yastrzemski sends it toward the corner, and it is fair. 1 run is home. Austin will be held at third. But the Braves now lead at 5-3, and Mike Yastrzemski, a walk, a single, and an RBI double tonight.
It's a good job after getting down 0-2. You got that slider that got away, and then one that sits in the zone, that little nitro zone we talk about often for left-handed hitters. That's where this slider ended up, and Yaz put a charge in it.
After a slow start to the season, Mike Yastrzemski, in limited action, has turned a corner for the Atlanta Braves. Now the infield comes in here for the Reds.
That might have been a strike that he just botched right there.
It dropped by Stevenson. Still nobody out here. I'm with you, though. Surprised at the Marte decision. Now, it's easy to look up after 3 batters and say, well, that was a mistake. But the way the lineup was going to play out doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense.
Terry Francona is going to be in the Hall of Fame one day, and I have him on my radio show every other week. So far be it for me to question him. But
and now Mateo with a little bloop. That will fall. Now the runners had to freeze, so they'll only get 1. But on the throw home, Mateo gets to second. 6-3 Atlanta.
Mateo doing it again and hanging in there. This was a better slider that he got from Marte. That was away off the end of the bat. Finds a way to find some outfield grass, and again, excellent base running. Read the throw here, and part of that was because Austin Riley was thinking about tagging. Why was he thinking about tagging in case there was a diving play there? Right, they're not so shallow. Sure, he's not going to tag up if you're camped, but if you dive and make that play, then he wants to be able to tag.
So a single, a hit by pitch, an RBI double, and now an RBI single here to start the 6th inning for the Braves. Infield still in for Chadwick Tromp. Terry Francona does have Caleb Ferguson throwing now in that bullpen, with Marte laboring. Trump reaches for it, just gets enough.
And you feel like that's probably what you're going to get, right? Those sliders away. You can always bust that sinker in. I think you get to this point with 2 strikes, you're kind of fighting for your life. You're just looking for contact, finding a way to get that run in.
Trump drove in a run back in the 2nd when the Braves got 3 in that inning.
That's good coverage. Think about where those 2 pitches were and going in different directions. That one, yes, it was off the plate. Didn't want to take a chance because he saw it out of the hand, probably catching the strike zone, and just continued to run and run. And that's a good job of fighting it off. Be very rewarding if somehow he finds a way after that to get this run in.
Up and in, the slider not going where Marte was hoping for. And now a 2-ball 2-strike offering. He does get Chadwick Trump. They're going to intentionally walk Ronald Acuna Jr. And then with the bases loaded, Terry Francona is going to call for Ferguson. We step aside.
They say it's a game of numbers, pero el flow es completamente otra ciencia. Mi trabajo es sencillo, cachar ese ritmo que solo nuestra gente tira y regarlo por toda la temporada. Flow mayor is where all those rhythms meet. Porque el flow no es de un solo jugador, es de un corillo entero que prende estadio. De San Diego a Santo Domingo y cada parada en el camino. Cuando estamos activos, la liga sube de nivel. Esto es Flow Mayor.
Bottom four, 3-0 Blue Jays. Kazuma Okamoto to lead it off for the Blue Jays. Hit a fly ball to right in his first at bat. As Okamoto drills one. High, deep, gone! His first home run as a Blue Jay, and it is 4-0. Big time power to the opposite field.
He came here with a power bat, and to show that early in the season, he's got these fans on their seats.
Atlanta Braves baseball is brought to you by Chevrolet. By the Georgia Lottery, today could be the day. And by Xfinity, reliable Wi-Fi at one price. Xfinity, imagine that. Downtown Cincinnati on a nice Friday night. Braves up 6-3 and hungry for more. Caleb Ferguson will try to put the fire out for the Reds. Made his season debut Wednesday after missing the start of the season with an oblique strain.
Had some rehab starts down in the minor leagues of both double and triple A. So as you mentioned, just the one game. You go back to last year, though, he's been good against lefties. 181 batting average since the beginning of last year.
An inning and a third scoreless Wednesday in his season debut against the Mets. He faces Michael Harris.
So Michael's faced him twice, but it's been a while. Both of those at-bats came back in 2023. He had a hit against Ferguson when he was with the Dodgers in September of that year.
Liner to left center. It falls. One run is coming home, and Mateo right on the heels of Yastrzemski scores another. Stay hot, Michael Harris. He is on an absolute tear, and the Braves are opening it back up here in the sixth inning.
What a nice piece of hitting here from Michael against this pitch here. It's a two-seam fastball, so it's going to fade back a little bit, but it's still outer third, but he doesn't get big. That's what Ferguson was banking on. Take a big swing, roll over that pitch, and hit a ground ball. Instead, it's a line drive to left center field.
Michael, every time he hits it, it's a hard hit ball. That one was 109 off the bat. He just hits rockets. Talking to Michael before the game, said, how good are you feeling right now? He said, I feel really good. He said, this feels like 2023 all over again, which we all have been saying with this offense, but also with Harris individually.
We're getting pretty close. We're going to be able to go year over year, calendar year, right, when he made those adjustments with his swing. And ever since that happened, second half of last year, carrying over into this year, he has been incredible.
Matt Olson swinging at an 0-2 pitch. 2 down. Braves with 4 runs home here in the 6th. The only man who hasn't come to the plate yet for Atlanta this inning is the guy there now, Ozzie Albies. Ozzie has hit one to every outfielder. Blade, Friedel, and Dunn have all caught one off the bat of Ozzie tonight.
So Ozzie faced him last year, flew out when he was pitching for the Mariners, and then the time before that, to go all the way back to 2018 when they faced each other again. When Ferguson was with the Dodgers, Ozzie had a single against him. It was a long time ago.
It was Ozzie's first full season in the bigs. the longest tenured Atlanta Brave. Whoa, there goes the bat on the cutter, swing and a miss to end the inning. But the damage done, the Braves get 4.
Mariano Rivera, cutter man, what can you say? Because lefties had no chance against him. Randy Johnson. So all you want to do is try to make contact and put the ball in play. Don't get hit in the head and just try to pull it in play. Mr. Greg Maddux, another great teammate, great player. Hey, this is a beautiful card right here. This card tells you and lets you know that I got him. When you see that finish high, you know that he's in the books.
What was that ball crushed?
All your favorite games from MLB Play are back, bigger, bolder, and better than ever. Test your skills with daily puzzles like MLB Pickle, the ultimate mystery player challenge, and Immaculate Grid, where stats and strategy collide. Then in Spinball, build your roster, take on your friends, and compete for the weekly prize. Or be the first to beat the streak and hit your way to the $5.6 million jackpot. Plus, the all-new Daily Walk-Off. Lock in your players by category for the walk-off win. The game's official home for games is MLB Play, only on the MLB app and MLB.com.
Two-run double.
Welcome back to the Rooms to Go Lounge. I'm Charlie Culberson. If you're a fan of food like I am, you got to try out the Skyline Chili. Some of the guys hate it, some of them love it. I loved it. That's it from the Rooms to Go Lounge. Back to you guys.
Charlie, I don't know if there's anything more polarizing than Skyline Chili across Major League Baseball.
So he's right? It's a love or hate kind of relationship. I've had a lot of people chime in and say Gold Star is the chili to have here in Cincinnati. Not familiar with it.
Look, I grew up 3 hours from here. We used to come here a lot, so I feel like I'm half local, so I can say without offending too many people on our crew that are working in this great city that it's terrible.
Way to soften it.
But here's the beauty of it. It's subjective. If you like it, that's great. If I eat it, I'm up for a week, and I need like 3 bottles of Pepto-Bismol. But some people, look, again, Charlie loves it. That's great. If you like it, I think it's awesome. It's just, I can't do it. I can't do it. That's a lot of cheese.
Yes.
If you're dairy-free and you eat that, you are going to be on the moon. Are we going tomorrow for lunch?
No, we got plans tomorrow.
Oh, that's right.
We got the Braves luncheon from Braves Vacations. Right, there's 2 spots this year, Cincinnati and New York, and then when that happens, we join the luncheon and have a little fun, a little meet and greet. And then you're working tomorrow. I am not. The game's on Fox. And we got a little day trip planned for the crew tomorrow.
Okay.
So you know what? We're in Cincinnati, which means we're almost in Kentucky. How far is Buffalo Trace? Well, it's not that far.
I like your plans.
So we're going to do a little whiskey tour tomorrow.
Okay. Maybe stop at Bed Bath & Beyond on the way, Home Depot? No?
No.
Just right there?
Right there and right back.
Okay. Fuentes gets a bouncer here off the bat of Lowe. 1 down.
So we're talking about the Chunichi Dragons, right, where Marte played last year. When I was there, there was a guy there who I'd never heard of before. His name is Tyrone Woods, played in the minor leagues a little bit. And his story is unbelievable. He spent 6 years in Japan, another 6 in Korea, and hit 412 home runs in his 12 years in Asia. The guy never stepped on a big league field in his life.
Wow.
It's an amazing story. 412 home runs between his 2 stops in Asia. And he was an absolute stud. He was built like a house.
Must have been a king over there.
How did this guy never play in the big leagues?
Because it's a pretty rabid fan base over there, right?
Yeah, and that team in particular in Nagoya, it's a really good spot. But yes, you go over there and have that kind of success, and absolutely you become a big-time celebrity over there as a foreign player. I mean, certainly the Japanese players, Korean players, but you do it as a foreigner, and they love you forever.
Do they like Skyline Chili over there?
That's a good question, actually. Let's ask Ha-Sung Kim.
2-2 here to Spencer Steer.
But a quick little shout out to the St. John's Red Storm. They beat Florida State in the first round of the regionals down in Tallahassee. Let's go.
Some pride from CJ where he pitched in college and where you met your wonderful wife, Megan, as a softball player there at St.
That's right. And she was texting me and giving me some updates on the game. So that's a nice moment. Underdogs.
Because they were the 4 seed, right? Florida State the 1.
Yep.
Riley in foul ground. And Fuentes with the first 2 outs here in the bottom of the 6th. A message from Zaxby's.
Zaxby's giant chicken finger quesadillas. Get them while you can. Who's got the sauce?
Zaxby's.
You know, we need to ask Tyler Stevenson. I'll try to get down there tomorrow. So he's an Atlanta kid. I want to ask him, do you like the varsity or Skyline Chili better? Now that he's been in Cincinnati a while, is he going to side with the new place that he lives in or where his heart and soul resides in Atlanta, Georgia?
You always play it smart. Now, if you ask him privately, it's one thing. If he's got a camera in his face, play it to the hometown crowd.
He committed to Georgia Tech before the Reds drafted him 11th overall back in 2015. Number 1 pick that year was Dansby Swanson by Arizona. .99 just missing. Could be a 1-2-3 inning. It is a 1-2-3 sixth.
The MLB app. Yeah, it's got game. This game. These games. All the games. Pre-game. Post-game. And everything in between. This is baseball your way. With real-time stats, scores, breaking news, and custom content that hits every time. Because you choose the teams and pick the players you want to follow. So when they catch it on the field, you catch it on the app.
There's so much history right here. And when I put it on and it's so light, it just feels just right. It feels just right. I mean, look at this. It got the city on it. When I was 7 years old, my uncle takes me where? To Shea Stadium. Darryl Strawberry hits a home run and I become a fan for life.
We play in Toronto. Guerrero sends over some good stuff for the guys, so when we play in Toronto, I definitely dive into that.
You gotta be careful with Vladdy, bro, because a Dominican breakfast will put you to sleep, bro. ¿Cómo está sonando la comida dominicana ya?
La comida dominicana ya no sé cómo está sonando, porque obviamente mi esposa me cocina. O sea, hay restaurantes, pero no voy a comer comida latina.
Puedes ser el dueño de grandes momentos del béisbol. MLB Auction te permite participar en la subasta de bates, bolas y jerseys autografiados, con artículos de tus equipos de grandes ligas favoritos, leyendas y jugadores. Visita auctions.mlb.com.
And the Braves flesh and some leather tonight. That is as sensational as it gets. Toyota Trends feature the Braves 17-9 against teams with a better than 500 record. The Reds have really struggled against top-end teams this year, and right now the Braves enjoying an 8-3 lead.
Yeah, pretty incredible to see what they've done all year, but then you start thinking about what have they done against the teams that are playing better baseball, and it's been all good news right now for the Braves, not so much for those Cincinnati Reds. Conversation here right now between Jeremy Hefner and Walt Weiss, what they want to do in the bullpen. Dylan Lee has been warming up, and for me, if he's warming up, that means he's in. So an inning and a third for Didier Fuentes.
Now, if the Braves put up 3 more here, could change, right?
Yeah, and that's all part of the conversation again and why it matters, right? You don't want Fuentes thinking 100% he's out of the game. If that is the case, you let him know. You almost tell him that he's still in, and then if a run comes across or whatever it might be, you change your mind. Again, the more information, the better when you are a reliever.
But with the game 8-3 and how this ballpark plays, you would understand why Walt Weiss wouldn't want to take any risks and set up his studs the rest of the way.
Yeah, but it becomes down to would he do that the rest of the way, right? With a 5-run lead, we probably wouldn't see Iggy. Maybe we see Suarez.
De La Cruz had Smith played right.
Because one thing Walt has shown us is that if he can get those guys a day off, he'll give them a day off, and he'll give them a lot of days off, right? Doesn't matter how many. So we saw them go through that longer stretch. What was it, like 7 days for both of them where they didn't pitch in a game.
Nick, you talked to Walt about Fuentes' leverage situations?
Yeah, I did, and a lot of times we think about high leverage as being on the back end of ball games, but he loves where he is right now as far as coming in maybe 5th, 6th inning in those big situations. We know it's a development process for him in general, but he feels like this is a really good spot for him to add that power arm in those situations to possibly get out of the big jam earlier in the game. I think that's kind of where he sits. He mentioned the back end of the bullpen is always going to be Lee, Suarez, and Iggy.
He is an absolute weapon to have. And that was a big inning, right? The 0-2 pitch got away from him when he came in to try to finish up the 5th. Another run ends up scoring, bounces back, though, very nicely from that with a strikeout of Suarez. And then get you a 0 after you put up a 4 spot.
And CJ, I think that adds a lot to the bullpen depth and what Walt decides to do later in the game as well. If he can hold on and the Braves score that those runs as far as that big multi-run inning, it gives Walt more options to not have to use those high leverage on the back end too.
And down goes Austin Riley, waving a miss at the cutter. Anthony Molina, who was just called up today with Carlos Carrasco being designated for assignment, is also throwing.
All right, so that tells me if we're playing along here that Fuentes is definitely done. If runs are added, Molina would be the guy. Otherwise, it's going to be Dylan Lee. It's a good point by Nick. A lot of times we focus on your starting pitchers, putting your relievers in the best possible position, keeping that bullpen rested. But your offense can do it as well, right? Multiple runs, big scores like this where you get up by 5 and get you in a much more comfortable place with that bullpen.
Mike Yastrzemski with a fly towards Blade. It is time for the stretch. It is going to be brought to you, as always, by Georgia Natural Gas.
To the stretch, fueled by Georgia Natural Gas. Service, savings, sustainability. It's that simple.
Jeremy bats for the 5th time tonight. Jeremy sends one to deep center field. This ball struck well. Carter back. He'll watch it sail away. Oh, it rattles around in the back of the Astros pen. Another well-struck home run.
Man, Jeremy Pena getting in on the action. Showing one of those 5 tools with that big swing. That was some pop. 107.6 off the bat. TK, 454 feet.
Wow.
Yogi Berra was an 18-time All-Star and 10-time World Series champion.
This is the only perfect game in World Series history. You ask him about it, and he would say, it ain't been done before, and it ain't been done since.
David Wells was perfect on May 17, 1998. Beanie Baby Day.
It's not the pitcher that's calling the game, it's the catcher.
New level that we're seeing from Money Mike.
How about his last 4 games? 9 hits, 7 RBIs. We might not be done yet tonight in Cincinnati.
Reasonable work.
Yeah, we'll get you back out to Cincinnati in just a second. First, a word from our friends at Georgia Natural Gas.
When it comes to natural gas in Georgia, G&G leads the league. We keep it simple with great rates that save you money. We even make it easy to reduce your carbon footprint with greener life. Sign up in minutes at gng.com.
Welcome back to Cincinnati. Atlanta with an 8-3 lead over the Reds as we head to the bottom of the 8th. Beautiful scenes tonight. And it's always a good scene when Robert Suarez takes him out after Lee pitched the 7th. Suarez on for the 8th.
And Molina was also throwing in that inning and going along in case there was another run scored again. Just kind of guessing there. And he's been the guy that has sat back and watched the big arms come in. And it is Suarez now who has been one of those big arms. He's been great. Gaudy ERA there at 0.77 up to this point for Robert Suarez. Just 1 home run allowed in 23 1/3 innings.
He had to get ready pretty quick because there were only 5 pitches thrown in a 1-2-3 top of the 8th. But Suarez is ready. He starts by facing Blade. And Blade rolls it to the right side. 1 pitch, 1 out. A message right now from Chevrolet.
Get into a 2026 Chevy Trax, starting at $23,495. Proud partner of the Atlanta Braves.
It's been a nice night for the rookie Sal Stewart, a double, an RBI hit, but this is the first time he gets a taste of facing Robert Suarez.
That was a great shot. The grass looked greener there than it does from our view. Kind of like the view on TV better.
It's a nice spot to take in a game here.
To get here at the right time. Not fun when you get midsummer. Certainly not fun to pitch here midsummer or really any time. But it is a good view here. It's going to go quick with the 2 games and then the day game, right? Whenever we get in late on a Thursday and then we go 3 and out with that day game, it goes quick.
This might find the gap. Can Harris get there? No. And for Sal Stewart, 3 hits tonight, including a pair of doubles. The Reds have a good one in Sal Stewart.
Aggressive here from Michael to go for this ball. You don't mind it, I guess, when you think about where the score is. Could he have gotten around it? Maybe not. And so he figured, I'm going to go for it or it's going to get to the wall anyway. It's a good job by Ronald to make sure he's there, so it's only a double.
Now a couple of veterans squaring off here. 35-year-old on the mound and Robert Suarez and Eugenio Suarez at 34 years old at the plate. Suarez loved his first stint here in Cincinnati, which was for 7 years from 2015 to 2021, and now back again 5 years later.
Fan favorite here. They seem to really like him personality-wise, and they saw an opportunity. His market was a little bit cool, despite the fact that he hit all those home runs a year ago, and they were able to get him late in the offseason.
Towards third, but foul. One-year deal, $15 million for Suarez this season. And he takes a strike. Change up from the other Suarez.
So when you think about his year that he had, was it 49 homers that he hit last year? For that number, that's a good number. You bring him to this ballpark, the place where he's been comfortable. And the expectation is that you would see a lot of home runs from Eugenio Suarez. It hasn't happened the way they thought, though, so far. Just 3. And his 28 starts, 30 games overall. Two balls, 2 strikes.
Lays off 100, full count. Now the payoff from the right-hander. And Robert Suarez blows triple digits by Eugenio Suarez.
It's fun to watch him reach back like this and give you that 100-mile-an-hour fastball. It's the four-seamer. It's elevated with life. Good extension he gets as well. And Eugenio Suarez, not a chance.
2 down, and now Nathaniel Lowe from the left side. 10 strikeouts now for Braves pitching tonight. Holmes started with 4 2/3. Fuentes an inning in the 3rd, and then Lee through the 7th and struck out the side. Tapper right back to the mound. Suarez recovers and makes a play. He works around a double to send us to the 9th.
Gosh, we've gone to Sea Dogs games since we were kids.
I've been coming to see the Sea Dogs for the last 30 years. Great experience.
Everybody here is just bends over backwards to help people out and wish the world was like it is right here at the ballpark.
We've always wanted to be more than just a baseball team. We want to be strong, active, contributing members of the community. And I think that effort is seen by the people and the fans, and they want to support that effort.
And if this doesn't send chills up your spine, nothing will. 18 in a row, retired after a leadoff home run by Buxton.
The most in the history of the franchise by a pitcher making his big league debut.
He becomes the 3rd White Sox player to hit 20 before June. Unbelievable rookie year.
At the wall, looking up. See you later! Second home run of the night for Yordan Alvarez, laying waste to Rangers pitching. He has hit 5 home runs in this series.
Here's Jackson Merrill.
Ground ball back toward the middle. Stott to his right, has it, throws to first in time. A record that stood 115 years.
Did he get enough? You bet he did. He's just showing off once again.
The last Dodger with 6+ no-hit innings and a home run in the same game. You got to go back to 1959, June 25th.
Atlanta Braves baseball is brought to you by your local Ford dealer, by Delta Airlines, keep climbing, and by Comcast Business, all-in-one connection and protection your small business can rely on. No one does business like Comcast Business. Nighttime in Cincinnati. Braves with a 5-run lead. Michael Harris to the plate. Our Whataburger, what a play. How about the last 20 games? 329 for Michael, 6 homers and 14 driven in, and he has driven in 3 more tonight.
And that's been really good to see. This turnaround has been real, right? We are far enough along now to believe in what we have seen here from Michael Harris. Just when there was all that concern, basically a year ago at this time.
But he has flipped the switch. He does pop out here to start the night. So this pitcher, Zach Maxwell, who set him down quickly in the 8th, now retires Harris. He's a Georgia kid. He played at Georgia Tech. His nickname is Big Sugar, but the nickname is because of Wiley Ballard.
Come on.
It was Wiley calling a game on Georgia Tech radio with Zach Maxwell pitching. And after a big strikeout, Zach Maxwell was storming off the mound, celebrating, and Wiley said he had a little jiggle in his wiggle and called him a big hunk of sugar, and it stuck, and that is still his nickname to this day.
It's on his baseball reference page, so you know it's real. Right there under nicknames, Big Sugar. How about it?
All because of Wiley Ballard.
That's awesome.
6'6", 275 for Big Sugar. One and two. And Wiley is doing play-by-play with Georgia Tech right now in their regional. So Greeny with us here for the series.
Got the practice's home run call today.
Big Sugar gets Matt Olson 2 down. Tyler Kinley, by the way, who is getting ready in the Braves bullpen.
Seven home runs today for Georgia Tech in that regional game.
What was the final?
It's like 22-5. Ooh. Alex Hernandez hit 3, including an opposite field grand slam that went halfway up the light pole. It was impressive.
Slow tapper to first. Ozzie will hustle and beat it out. And ruins another 1-2-3 inning here in the 9th.
Ozzie did not want to be left out of the party here tonight. They're not going to challenge it for the Cincinnati Reds. He'd been 0 for 4 and now beats this one out. A nice little infield hit. Beat it in the ground and run. Good job by Ozzie Albies. He could say that he beat Big Sugar to first.
Little Ozzie beat Big Sugar. You talked about Georgia Tech. UGA is up 15-1 in their regional game. So between the Bulldogs, the Jackets, and the Braves, a lot of runs being scored by teams in Georgia today. Braves got the homer by Acuna in the first, 3 in the second, then 4 more in the 6th to take this 8-3 lead. And Dominic Smith, this one going to go foul on him. 1-1. In the bottom of the 9th, the bottom 3 spots in the order are due up for Terry Francona's Cincinnati Reds. Dominic Smith looking for another hit, and he's got it. A 3-hit ball game for the Braves DH.
Got a couple of those over the last couple of days now for Dom Smith, where he's gone the other way with some soft contact, but they've been getting down for base hits.
Chance at maybe a bigger cushion here for the Braves, and certainly in this ballpark, you'll take every run you can get. This one should be playable in foul ground for Lowe. Braves need 3 outs to complete a win on the
Friday Night Showdown.
Brought to you by Kaiser Permanente.
Yogi Berra was an 18-time All-Star and 10-time World Series champion.
This is the only perfect game in World Series history. You ask him about it, and he would say, it ain't been done before, and it ain't been done since.
David Wells was perfect on May 17th, 1998. Beanie Baby Day.
It's not the pitcher that's calling the game, it's the catcher calling what pitch to throw.
Home plate is 17 inches wide. And so he said, well, if it's more than an inch, and it was a lot more than an inch, then it's an illegal bat.
Well, he is. He's out. Yes, sir. He is out. Look at this. Keep it down a little, will you, please?
Okay, Yogi.
Casey Stengel and the other touring ball players met the King of England.
Of course, with my English, we had a little trouble understanding each other.
As Yogi said, when you come to a fork in the road, take it. Go to baseballhall.org to plan your visit to the National Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum in Cooperstown, New York, and catch every episode of Hall of Fame Connections on MLB.tv.
Puedes ser el dueño de grandes momentos del béisbol. MLB Auction te permite participar en la subasta de bates, bolas y jerseys autografiados, con artículos de tus equipos de grandes ligas favoritos, leyendas y jugadores. Visita auctions.mlb.com.
Atlanta Braves baseball is brought to you by Chili's Big Crispy 3 for Me, the best $10.99 you can eat. By Alpha Insurance, your winning lineup for auto, home, life, and health. And by Yellowwood brand pressure treated pine. Remember, if it doesn't have this yellow tag, you don't want it. Braves fans looking for 3 more outs in an 8-3 game with the bottom 3 in the order due up here for the Reds against Tyler Kinley.
Kind of wondered how this would play out. I think with this league, you still want a big arm, and Tyler Kinley is a big arm here for the Braves. Making those adjustments that Wiley was talking about last time regarding his slider, I thought was very interesting, and shortening up that stride just a little bit. It had gotten long on him, and it affected his slider in a negative way, but he looked good in Boston.
Spencer Steer a single in 3 trips. No balls, 2 strikes.
We were talking about it, right? We watched how the bullpen played out here today. One, it's first game of the series. You'd love to get the first one in. But then the way that Walt talked about this ballpark, and it kind of gave you Colorado vibes. Throw the idea of what we consider a save in a close game out the window. And at 5 runs, he's treating it like it's 3.
And a called strike. Cincinnati has 2 challenges left. Now, Steer's not going to use it, and there is 1 away in the bottom of the 9th.
Might have had a case here. Good velocity on that pitch, that slider at 88 miles an hour.
I mean, I wonder if Steer forgot that they had 2, because why not use it there? Kenley will take the gift, and now here's Stevenson. Well, the pen has done its job. 3 2/3 scoreless so far after Grant Holmes exited. .02 slider will fall in right center. So Stevenson with 2 hits tonight. Just not where he wanted that one.
0-2 in the zone, right? I think he wants to sweep that slider because the first one was a strike, got a swing and miss. Second one way out of the zone, got a swing and miss. I don't think he's trying to throw that in there. I think he's trying to get wide with it again and ends up making a mistake, and what should be a harmless base hit to the opposite field.
Will Benson is going to hit here for Myers in the 9th spot in the order. Another guy from Atlanta, and he swings at the first pitch. And Yastrzemski will camp under it. 2 down. 30,000 the announced crowd tonight here at Great American Ballpark. She seats 42K. Braves trying to send most of them home unhappy, though there is a fair contingent of Braves fans here. Yastrzemski toward the gap. Braves win. And they are again 20 games over 500 at 39-19.
Kind of played out, I think, the way we thought it would go down, and that was an opportunity for the offense to do some big things. It got started early with Ronald Acuna Jr. leading things off with a home run. Then Michael had one robbed, had one over the fence, second batter of the game, but that did not slow this offense down. And a great job by the pen. We know Grant Holmes was a little frustrated, couldn't quite finish that 5th inning, but Walt got aggressive. It ended up being the right call. They took over the rest of the way and did great work.
All in a pretty tidy 2 hours and 39 minutes on a Friday night here in Cincinnati. We thank you all for spending your Friday night with us. Our next Braves Vision telecast will be Sunday afternoon. Stay tuned now for the post-game show. They will take you the rest of the way and recap this one. A lot of good tonight, starting with Acuna's homer in the first. For our entire crew, for Nicholas Green, for Christopher John Nitkowski and the rest, I'm Brandon Gaudin signing off and saying so long, everybody.
Hank Greenberg helped popularize the first baseman's mitt, holding a massive 13-inch pocketed glove. That was quickly banned, reducing the maximum size to 12 inches. Paul Richards also developed a black hole-sized catcher's mitt. This ginormous thing, measuring 42 inches in circumference, was known as Big Bertha, or the Elephant, for its massive size. It was swiftly outlawed as well.
The name of the business is Legacy Catering. We all were talking about how Mom taught us all how to cook. She was a cook at the public school system for ages. So we all started cooking with her, so we decided, to do the business, so we went to figure out what we're going to call it. So we said, let's cook in honor of, our mother. So that's what Legacy came in. And just remember that Legacy Catering is about people, and this is what barbecuing is all about, and this is why we love it.
Coming off AL Player of the Week honors, where he hit over 400 with 3 homers, Bobby Witt Jr. was all gas, no brakes.
And grounded inside the bag and up the line. Played poorly off the sidewall by Carpenter. How far will Bobby go? And Vance Wilson is going to let him come to the plate. He is in there.
To say Bobby is on a tear is an understatement. His gap-to-gap power and that lightning speed have him among the major league leaders in hits, stolen bases, and WAR. He also just happens to be one of baseball's premier defensive players.
Goodness, that's why he's one of the best in the game.
That is how you win a Gold Glove in back-to-back seasons, and last year earned a Platinum Glove.
Baseball fans are bearing witness to something special.
He's their go-to guy in all situations, whether it's defensively, offensively, running the bases, complete player.
A primetime player in his prime.
And here's Will Smith, a chance to hand out a present on his birthday. Smith drills one, left center field. It is gone! Number 16, time and again in clutch time. Pitching change for the Diamondbacks after some birthday in bobblehead night magic from Will Smith. From down 1 to up 1.
This is the Braves post-game show. It's high fives all around in Cincinnati. An 8-3 victory against the Reds. The Braves pound out 13 hits. Ronald Acuna Jr. leads off the game for the Braves with a home run, and the result is all positive. and they take game one of the 3-game series against Cincinnati. First meeting between the teams this year. We are live on the Battery, Atlanta. So glad that you're with us for the post-game show. Tom Wormy, Peter Moylan. And Peter, what a performance by the Braves. It was a little dicey midway through, a 4-3 score, but
Not
they
at all.
busted open in that 6th inning. We'll get into that a little bit more, but all around, top to bottom, what a performance, especially the bullpen, too, didn't allow anything tonight.
And it's quite simple. We're 1-0 with Wormy, as they say. Welcome back. Got us a victory in Cincinnati. Way to get the road trip started great. Grant Holmes was pretty good for 3 innings, ran into some trouble in that 4th. A couple of solo homers again. The bullpen picked him up big time right the way through, all the way to the 9th inning. No dramas at all out there, and the offense showed up again. Early runs, middle runs, late runs. Well done by us. A great performance. We did what we needed to do against Chris Paddock tonight, that's for sure.
Yeah, the Braves are now 7-3 in their last 10 games with the 8-3 victory. Time for the forward keys to the game. We mentioned that 6th inning. It was getting close, and the Braves said, not so fast. And they started to get the bat on the ball, and Michael Harris chipping in, Yaz also, and they put up 4 in that 6th.
And it was a beautiful display from the bottom of the order. Some patient at-bats, some really good at-bats with 2 strikes. Something that this offense has done all year long. We've mentioned it ad nauseum. But that guy right there, Michael Harris, is having quite possibly the best start to the season. It is the best start that he's had to the season. We've seen him have runs like he's had over the last month or so, midway through the season, but the fact that he's carried his right the way out of spring training almost, there was some struggles maybe early on, but he's just really been roping the baseball all over the place.
And how about Ronald Acuna yesterday with the grand slam, today with the home run? He had gone a month or so without hitting a home run. Now he goes back-to-back days, and things are looking up for him. Started the game off with the solo shot.
And a couple of homers as well a couple of walks from him as well. But this swing again, he loves Cincinnati. He obviously made his debut in Cincinnati. I was actually on the team when he made his debut. Fun fact in 2018. Right. But yeah, Ronald, and then the early runs. We had to manufacture some runs. This doesn't go down as a hit, but a great at-bat by Mateo again to roll over and get us a RBI there, and then Chadwick Trump with a fly ball to right field drives in another run. Some manufacturing there, and then Michael Harris obviously again. But that's the relentless start that they can get off to, and then when they can add on when it gets a bit dicey, you see the team start to claw back and they get within 1, but then bang, foot on the gas the very next inning. That 6th inning has been something special, not just yesterday, not just today, but over the course of this season. It feels like when that decision needs to be made to bring in a reliever or make a change, it's usually the wrong decision for the opposition manager. The opposition manager.
Right, and tonight setting the foundation once again with the solo shot by Ronald Acuna, and then the 3 runs in the 2nd inning. And don't forget, Michael Harris got robbed.
Oh, yeah.
Should have been a home run.
That 1st inning could have been nasty. That could have been a home
start
run.
The game, right?
And then Olsen got thrown out at 2nd during that 1st inning as well. That could have been real dicey.
Doesn't matter now. 8-3 is the final as the postgame show continues. The Braves get the victory. Wow, they're piling up the wins. 39-19. That is the best record in the major leagues as the Braves postgame show rolls on from the Battery with victory tonight.
All your favorite games from MLB Play are back.